How's it going, everybody? Oh, 1 second. How's it going, everybody? We're here. It's Kyle from Fantasy Forge Studios and the creative Everlast. It's good to see you all. Welcome back to session 15 of Everlast. So we are really excited to have each and every one of you today, our last session of November. And last that just happened, they experienced an encounter with a dragon. So, but before we go too much into detail about anything that's happening, let's go ahead and introduce our cast of players. Let's go ahead and start off with Max.
Hello, I'm Max. I play Zyl, the short but fierce guy with an axe who apparently doesn't know how to use it. Couldn't hit anything. But
Yeah,
his job
it's
is to
tough.
hit.
I was struggling on a
hit.
few of my rolls too, and it's when you're rolling like 4s and below every time, it doesn't matter what your modifier is. It's gonna have a bad time.
It was bad. But his job is to get hit, not to hit, even though it's nice. And he did that well. That one's pretty hard to mess up. Yeah.
Great. Next, unfortunately, Cole is not able to join us tonight, but he is playing typically Luxalia Silverwood, and so she is the resident healer of the group. And currently, during this whole basically holiday phase, she has been doing her studying up at the Aishen Island shrine. So she's been doing that. Last session, she was still doing that. In this session, at least to start with, she's still going to be doing that. And so she's really trying to, get smarter. And next we have Dane.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dane. I play Mistletoe Yuki. She is a silver dragon from the Refinium Peaks from the city of Flamongolith. She has the opposite problem of Zyl. She has no problems hitting some attacks with her dual-wielding broadswords. However, she gets hit quite a lot, and so she was a little bit bloodied after the last encounter that we just have. However, she's ganky and ready to go in the next phase of today, session 15.
And poisoned.
Yes. Well, no, she healed technically from that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And next we have Connor. So Connor's joining us after a little bit of time away.
Yes, hi guys, it's good to be back. I play Belbin, and he's just been relaxing, man. He's been trying to get rid of some misery. Usually he's a pretty fierce guy, but I think this vacation is doing wonders for him.
Well, and I can't think of a better place to sit and relax than just on the beach. This is probably one of the most relaxing places that you could be in all of Everlast. So good for Belbin. Actually, probably his first vacation ever in his life. Probably.
I think you're right.
And then finally, we have Thordane, who will be played by Dane today. And Thordane is the group's tracker. He is also the hunter of the group. And with his bow and with his science, he goes and he studies the ecology of islands and different locations. And that is currently where he has been, at least until the begining of this.
I was about to say, don't forget that he's a man of science.
He is a man of science. As all elves are, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they live long lives. I mean, science is probably a good thing to be involved in. And of course, I am Kyle. I am the creator of this game, Everlast, and I am going to be the Fate Weaver of this group today. And before we get started and jump right in, I have a few things to talk about. I know you guys are sick and tired of this, but warning: Fantasy First Studios and Kyle.
Wait,
will
hold
follow.
on, Kyle. Hold
Yes.
on. For everyone else, I was at the airport last night and I got in super late this morning. And while I was at the airport, I recorded your last one
No way.
and I just fast forwarded it. So see if you can hear this.
So Fantasy Forge and Kyle Font own all copyrights in the text, images, video, audio, graphics, story, gameplay mechanics, and all intellectual property involved in the creation of Everlast. And so essentially what that means is we're bringing this to you early. Allow you to be able to understand, get to know the world, and really feel immersed in it before the official release of the game. Because of that, we do have copyright of this, so don't steal it, don't take it. This is our kind of like my brainchild, and hopefully something to bring to you and a way to be able to support myself and my family sometime in the future. So there's that. However, you may use the contents in these services for your own individual non-commercial and homebrew kind of entertainment. We want this to be able to be a world that you can be able to really understand and really know and really have some fun with. So you can use it to that extent. Just don't claim that it is yours because it is owned by Fantasy Forge and myself.
All right.
Yo, freaking let's go.
So, I guess if I wasn't an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, that's how I would sound.
That's nice. I like it. I like it.
Thank you for your hard work. Wow.
You should send that to Kyle so he can implement that into
Yeah, and maybe you want to make some changes. I don't know. You can make yourself super low voice too, but then you can't understand a word you say. Yeah.
Everything's drawn out. Oh gosh,
I love
that's
it.
quite fantastic. But awesome. With that being said, and hopefully with all of that out of the way, all the legal mumbo jumbo, let's go ahead and jump into basically the session. So last session, kind of a recap. Let's recenter ourselves in this world of Everlast. Essentially, as mentioned, Belbin, Luxalia, and Thordane, they're still on Aishen Island doing their things in order to recover and do stuff. However, during the last session, both Yuki and Zyl, they spent their time training, doing all that kind of stuff. There was a little conversation between Yuki and Salic, but when it all came down to it, they were summoned to the court by basically the three main officials in Everlast. And they were Malaysiarch, who is the main representative and basically the leader of Takai Town. Concourt, who is the Draken representative, and Hinako. But being summoned to this place, the group was brought back to the memories of their first arrival here to this island prior to the official stream of this game. And one thing that they had noticed initially was upon arrival, there was a giant dragon that had left the crater of Aishen volcano and made its way. Basically, it made its way over to Terra Bay Island, which is a island that the group had previously visited, where there was an earth elemental that was there and some unsavory folk that were trying to corrupt the earth pillar. And the group was able to save it way back in the day, but as it turns out, upon their arrival, this dragon, which they found out later that went by the name of Smoldran, which is the son of Nazraheem, one of the great dragons from the First Age, who currently still resides in Aishen Volcano. They went over to discover why was he there. One of the things about gold dragons as well is they're quite proud. Specifically Smoldran, he's pretty boastful of himself and kind of overconfident in his abilities, especially being as young of a dragon as he is. However, upon visiting, both Yuki and Zyl noticed that he was quite a menacing presence, a great dragon in his own right. And too big to be able to fit into basically the temple rooms of this island. He, upon investigation a little bit and kind of swaying him over with some words and, maybe some revelry and just, awe of this great dragon, the group was eventually asked to go down, or at least Zyl and Yuki, and recover an artifact of something that Smoldran claimed is a artifact of absolute evil. It was this rope that it binds that when wrapped around, tied around somebody, it binds them to basically the controller's will. and used for great evil at length in Everlast's past history. However, Smoldran claims to both Yuki and Zyl that he wants to be able to have it in orders that nobody evil can use it, specifically use it against dragons, use it against him. As he is a dragon, it's more safe in his hands than in any hands of any other individual that exists. And so he sought the help of these two individuals to go claim that. And upon retrieval of it, both Zyl and Yuki handed it over to Smoldran, and in return, he promised a valuable treasure from his treasure hoard in Aishen volcano. One of his favorite treasures, he claims, and it was a shining, kind of glistening golden string, to which it turns out to be a bowstring. So a string to be wrapped around a bow, and it has almost this ethereal like glow to it, but it's not complete with a bow, and so unfortunately at this point it is seemingly unusable at this moment.
No.
But
It looks really nice though.
Yeah, let's go ahead and focus in on the rest of that conversation. So upon retrieval of this, Smoldran, he puffs himself up, and he kind of, as he placed the rope on his shoulders, you notice that it actually like hangs down, and the length of this rope is, from what you can tell, would be enough that if basically attempted to wrap around his neck, it could wrap around his neck maybe 2 times. So it can not only wrap his neck, but a dragon much larger as his father Nazraheem as well. And so he goes ahead and he takes that as he offers the bowstring. He says, "A nice prize indeed." And he kind of like looks at both of you, seeing how you react to this bowstring, as it were.
Yuki being grateful for what it was, because he showed it to us. Sorry, this is above game. He showed it to us before we went in, right? It was just from really far away, so we couldn't really see.
Correct. Yeah, it looked minuscule in his hands, but he ended up giving it to you. And in your hands, it's definitely like, yeah, this looks like it could be tied around a bow. So, that's fun.
Yuki smiles and gives him a very generous and not generous, but a very courteous bow. And says, "Oh, great Smoldran, such a gift we are unworthy of. However, we were happy to have helped you."
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, one thing troubles me about your journey down underneath. You mentioned that there was nobody down there, and you mentioned that there were cloaks of the individuals that used to protect this island.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as you're aware of, outside of the goblin scum beneath, there was no life underneath.
Yeah, as far as we know.
At least in our journey down here this past time, there was nothing aside from the goblins that we slain. Yes, that's correct.
So it is true. Upon my first arrival here at this island, it seemed unnaturally calm. In my past visits when I was a whelp, I always saw visitors amongst this place, always greeted by robed individuals. Individuals that went by the name of the Order of Amandalius. They were a race of elven priests, if you like to call them as such, stemming all the way from earliest parts of Everlast history, all the way back to my father's young days. This order has existed in an unbroken chain. But there is nobody left to protect this island. There is nobody left to protect the Earth Pillar.
That seems to be an issue. Yuki perks up. Is there anyone on Aishen Island that you feel would be worthy to take on such a task? I don't know how well you know the citizenry of the island that you and your father rule, but they seem to be pretty trustworthy folk. Is there anyone who we can ask to send over here to discover more about the goings on of the Earth Pillar? Anyone that you trust, I should say.
If I may be so bold, isn't it your father who protects the fire pillar?
My father and I sleep within the crater. The fire pillar itself lies in Flamberge. The gold draken are the ones that watch over that. Nalgoric Cragheim, the current ruler of that race of people. He's the one who watches over the pillar.
Do
You
you
have
think?
good relations with Nalgoric?
Relations we do have. Good. Nalgoric's a good man from what I can see. From what I can tell, a man of not only justice, but a man of unbridled skill with a blade. Not many who would seek to do much to this pillar could probably stand against his prowess. That being said,
He's already got experience with protecting pillars. Maybe he could protect this one.
perhaps indeed. Do you know the history of these pillars?
I know that they're tied to the creation of Everlast.
Indeed. And the
There's
people
the-
who live in Everlast, the different races of people. As these pillars were discovered, and as the people of Everlast spread throughout the world, they decided way back when, to divide the protection of these pillars so that one race of people did not look over each pillar individually.
Yuki thinks to herself that that's exactly what she was thinking, and she thinks, and she speaks up. So you said that elves were the ones who protected this one. So would it be fitting that elves watch over it again? Or would there be any other races in the Aishen Island area that you would trust with watching over the Earth Pillar? I think the Gold Draken can do it, but we again, as you said, I don't think a monopoly would be good for these.
The Order of Amendalius is quite difficult to replace, you see. They have a history and a lineage. I do know that this order exists in remote places scattered throughout the whole of Everlast. It was a small number of those who lived here. And every 1,000 years or so, when those elves grow old and they die, a new round from the order comes. Unfortunately, these elves were only here for about 200 or so years. There is perhaps those who, he thinks, he ponders, lie with the humans. The humans of Folden Rock. Have you heard of such a place?
Folden Rock. And Yuki thinks back over the top of the game. That's where Salic came from, right? Folden Rock?
That is where Salic came from. And
Okay.
actually, it is where also Gunter came from. Or not Gunter, Duluth.
Ah, Duluth. Oh yes, we've heard of it. Actually, we have some compatriots who are from Folden Rock. Actually, they're currently on the island, Aishen Island in Takai Town, as we speak.
Then seek out the Order of Amendalius. Bring them here. And as for the protection of this pillar, I shall reside here for the time being. Take your time. Years in the life of a dragon is nothing but a blink in our lifetime.
Good to know.
We'll try to be as speedy as possible. All right. And then I guess Yuki's gonna curtsy and excuse herself.
But before we go, do you have any smithing tips?
Smithing is not something that dragons take part in. It is our dragon fire that helps. The hotter the flame, the harder the steel.
Ooh, that's a pretty good tip. Thank you.
Anything else that you guys wish to ask before departing?
Yuki's already halfway down the path as this is going on.
All right.
I've got a weird question. Hopefully it's not disrespectful. I don't mean any.
Dear Lord.
That remains to be seen. The question is...
Could I have a scale?
Go ahead and make an influence skill check for me.
Good thing you're good at that.
Oh gosh. Let's see. 11.
Okay. It's not horrible.
Now, young one, what do you wish the scale to be used for from the great Smoldran?
We are world travelers, and we're trying to like help Everlast not explode basically from evilness. And there's a lot of people who, when we try to explain that, still don't trust us. And like it's such a waste of time when we're trying to make sure the continent doesn't die, that maybe, just maybe, having a scale that was a gift from a great dragon could help earn people's trust to cut out a lot of the bureaucratic crap we have to deal with when we're just trying to save the world.
Freaking Zyl, my boy. My boy.
And I think it looks cool.
I wouldn't be convinced, Zyl.
No one convinces Belvin of anything.
He takes some time to consider.
Now what word, what representation from a great dragon would help in your petty diplomacies? How would this serve to give you recognition?
I mean, I was always under the impression that the great dragons are majestic and respected beasts.
We're respected, and we're dangerous.
And he kind of bids you to come a little bit closer, where he holds up a claw, as if to bring you closer in as he leans down and almost, I mean, still like a good about 10 feet away, hisses almost a whisper.
And there are those who seek such prizes from my brethren through violent means. Those who are found
I would never
throughout
dream
Everlast
of
with...
harming a dragon.
Not that you could, but those who can, those of mighty strength. They take their prize, they harvest our bodies, and those with the scales of a dragon. Those represent the enemy of all dragons.
Is there a different gift that shows your support without that connotation?
Perhaps.
And he goes away from you, and it stops whispering, stops kind of like hissing at you. And
Also, are we having this conversation in Draconic?
Yeah, totally. Everything's in
freaking,
Draconic.
Yes.
freaking
Yeah.
sick. Look
Yeah.
at this.
And as he does so, as you negotiate with him,
Is the gift that I gave you not enough?
Would that be recognizable that it came from you, oh so great Smoldran?
Do you recognize it to be great?
Oh, I absolutely. It's a beautiful gift, more than we deserved. We thank you very, very much. But is there anything that ties it for someone who, I don't know, maybe is in Helix or up in the Silverwood, or those are about the only two places Zyl knows. Would they recognize it?
Perhaps. It's an ancient relic. Something that has been in my father's dragon hoard long before I was born. Far before I was even an egg, a thought, an inkling in this world. It caught my attention. Perhaps it could catch the attention of the right individual.
Maybe so. I was thinking something a little more universally recognizable.
Yuki's already 300 yards away, whistling how she walks down the path, not daring to look back. Good. It's good.
Seek out King Nalgoric. There is nothing that I have here that I am willing to give. It is a shame for a dragon to gift such a scale to mere strangers, mere acquaintances.
Understood. I was just asking. I'm not well versed in really the decorum of anywhere, if we're honest.
He laughs. Decorum. Dragons and decorum. We don't have much time for words, well, much patience for words. People die, and those words that they have leave their lips.
But also decorum of the meaning behind scales and gifts from great dragons. I just forgive my ignorance. Thank you for the gift you've already given us.
Tell King Nalgoric of our encounter. I am sure he will, gift you with something.
Of course.
My father and I are relatively close to the folk of Flamberge. While I cannot give you anything of myself, something from Flamberge might help to fill those same purposes.
Thank you for your wisdomous guidance.
And if you are in need of any more of my wisdomous guidance, and he kind of smirks, you know where to find me. And with that, he lifts up into the air and he makes his way up to the peaks. Without another word, Zyl, you are left alone on the beach, seeing kind of trudging her way down along the coast.
I just
Yuki
start running towards Yuki.
And with that, we will make our way over to Belbin. So, Belbin, back in Takai Town, he is very busy doing his, help getting rid of some of that misery. And as you're doing so, you notice that this burden seems to be lifted from you. There's still this hurt that exists deep down within. And one thing that you, as you make your way through, that you notice kind of helps to calm you, especially after these sessions, is making your way and walking through the gardens, the lush gardens that are right outside of the Domo Nonsen. These gardens, in and of themselves, as Kalisha had mentioned to you, have almost this healing property. something that, peace itself seems to radiate from the very soil itself. As you do so, Belbin, I'm going to actually have you make a mind survival check as you wander through these gardens.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
You better survive it. Better survive it.
Non-natural. Never mind, it's an 18,
18.
Yo, freaking sick.
not 16.
You walk through these gardens and you begin to hear some kind of almost celestial call. Something that seems really far away. And no matter how much you walk and what direction you think, it just seems to be farther and further away. And you're not quite can comprehend what these words are saying. But you do notice that they are attractive, and you find yourself actually on most of your days just losing yourself in this giant garden. And you often are actually led to the steps. You see Luxalia every now and then making her way up to the shrine, as you have to make your way through the gardens to get up to the shrine at the top. And you notice as you actually draw closer to the shrine, you draw closer to Luxalia, this bit of, this voice gets louder for a moment. However, as you approach Luxalia and as you attempt to converse with her, the voice completely goes away and everything goes quiet. And you are suddenly brought back to your previous emotions, your previous sorrows, your previous thoughts. And so during this time, you've made yourself almost scarce to talking with people, just in general. Pretty much the only times that you have talked during these 2 weeks are within your own mind and to Kalisha. How are you going to react to this voice as you are venturing through these gardens? You're very aware of it.
Okay. Do I realize that I'm the only one that can hear it, or do I think that it could actually be like a voice coming from somewhere, like behind me or from the forest or something?
So at first, it sounded as if it was almost kind of just like the sound of like somebody like in the distance on the wind. It's kind of what it sounded like. But as you began to focus more, and actually as each session you have completed with Kalisha has finished, the almost kind of like the sing-songiness of these words have become more apparent. You still are unable to understand, almost as if it's in a language you can't comprehend, what the words are saying, but you know that it brings you peace. And as you spend time, you realize this is not from any individual that is inside these gardens. It almost seems to be coming from like an unreachable place from within.
Okay. I think Belbin, we're on vacation. I think that he's just going to sit there and kind of soak it in, I guess. I guess maybe be open to it, but doesn't necessarily like pursue trying to figure out what it means or anything like that. Just kind of soaks it in, I guess.
Okay. As you do so, I'm going to have you make a piety skill check for me.
Okay.
Good thing Belbin's pious.
Let's see. Piety. 7.
Nice.
7. You soak it in. One of the things that is really actually drawn to your attention is the people that are in your life. This is something that you, listening to this voice, you begin to reflect on, almost as if the voice itself sounds familiar. You go through a bunch of people in your head. You keep getting stuck on an individual particularly, and it is actually Shada. She is continuously brought up, and actually it's odd. So what you've known from Shada and from your previous encounters with her here on this island is she doesn't seem to be going anywhere. She's here, but you haven't been able to see her, and actually you haven't really felt the desire to go seek her out. It's almost as if like your time in this garden is like more present with her than you had ever experienced, like actually talking with her. It's as if like maybe anything that was guarded between you and her are completely lifted away, and it's like it kind of like this openness, and it's not even really a conversation, as I had mentioned. It's just kind of listening to this voice, but it for some reason it just brings like Shada to mind constantly, and so that's something during this time that you continuously think about.
Okay, but I haven't seen her in the Domo Onsen.
Yeah, you haven't
since
seen
that
her
first
in
time.
the onsen. That is correct.
Okay.
But you're sure she is here somewhere on this island. So if you
Okay.
do wish at some point to go seek her out, you probably could find her.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah. I think I'm happy with that.
Okay. And with that, we have one more holiday action that you are going to be able to do. What is it that you wish to do?
I think I want to go into town. Maybe.
Okay.
Well, maybe before leaving.
Hmm.
Does the Domo Onsen have like a spa or anything, or
Oh,
like
yeah.
a salon? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like, this place is world famous. There are all kinds of rooms for all kinds of different massages, all kinds of different treatments. It's pretty luxurious.
Okay. Would they be able to do some styling?
Styling.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They can. With a cost, of course.
Of course.
All right.
Delvin is
So
prepared to
what
pay.
kind of styling are you looking for? Like a hair styling or like what?
So, I think Belvin wants to go spend some time on the beach after he's done shopping.
All right.
But he's a pretty hairy little fox.
Okay.
So, I think he wants to get a shave job.
A shave job?
Like, have you seen those, like, kind of like a poodle? Like how dogs sometimes get, like, summer haircuts? It's really weird.
Summer haircuts?
Yeah.
Like really short hair, kind of?
Yeah. Yeah, like, where it's, like, really just a, yeah,
Like all
over.
over, including tail, ears, everything?
everything.
Everything. All right.
Gotta get beach ready.
Beach ready. All right, yeah, they absolutely have that, and they actually have an exquisite treatment, and it is going to cost you one ever piece EP in order to do it. It's expensive, but they do a remarkable job. Like
I only have 8 of those. Okay, let's do it.
you could do an ever piece, or it's an equivalent to 10 ever coin. So whichever one you
okay.
wish to spend.
Okay, I'll just do one ever piece. That's easy.
Okay. So you flip that to them, and they look at you as if like you are Mr. Moneybags. One of the things about Everpiece is they're exceedingly rare to find. It's almost kind of like in the United States, someone giving you like a $2 bill. Like it's like, whoa, like this is like really cool. I've never seen that. Or if you're in Japan, like the 2,000 yen bill. It's like something that's like people like never see, and it's just kind of like, whoa, like this is amazing. But they give it to you, or you give it to them, and they happily do that, and they actually do it flawlessly, exactly how you want. You are beach body ready. You are good. If you wanted to go down and on the beach and show off your new look, like you will be getting the attention of everybody.
Booyah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to go into town then. Start strutting my stuff. You know,
Okay.
new
You do
year,
so.
new me.
You do so. Is there anywhere specifically that you want to look for this action? Anything you want to do?
Yeah. Kind of the 2 things I'm looking for. I think I want either health potions or like either more like hand wraps or tone fuzz, something like that.
Okay.
So I don't know if those would even be in the same shop, but
So, the nice thing with this festival plaza is there's a plethora of things that come in and out. One thing that you have noticed is actually down at the docks where a lot of the traders and vacationers come in, is there are actually a plethora of Goliven that have come. You have no idea where from, but from the general looks of them, probably they come from Golden Sands. Just kind of their general hair color and everything. There are a few merchants that have kind of set up shop in the festival plaza. So the festival plaza area is this one right here. There's kind of like some empty shops that, you know, seasonally, occasionally come in and out. And they're actually one of the trader ships seem to have taken place up there. And by the Golden Sands Glyphon. It actually looks something interesting, things you haven't seen. They actually, one thing that you do know of the Golden Sands Glyphon is they are known for their martial arts, specifically their, kind of like almost like jujitsu type of fighting style. And so they potentially could have something that might pique your interest. So
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
so you make your way over there and you see what they have for sale. And without too much role play or anything, I will tell you exactly what they have for sale.
Okay.
So on this day specifically, you're looking at sets of what look to be weapons, but also sets of clothing. And so they have what look to be two sets of knuckles. One of them is you can tell, like, they're really well made, but they're essentially a set of iron knuckles. The second one, however, is a much more pristine version. It is a set of steel knuckles. And so if you wish to purchase those, feel free. And then also, as far as their woven stuff, all kinds of different robes, almost kind of like monks' robes, and actually an immaculate kind of set up as a centerpiece, strung between like these two like basically boards, a set of really fancy looking clerics as well.
Okay. I think right now I'm more interested. How much are the steel knuckles? And is that a +2?
Steel knuckles are going to be +1 weapon. However, because you, I think, have a +2 proficiency, you still get the +2 bonus to hit. You only get the +1 for damage, though, with the weapon. And these are going to cost you 20 EC Evercoin.
20
You should blow their mind and give them 2 EP.
Way overpay for everything.
That's the same.
It's the same price, but they're rare.
Blow their mind.
Yeah, like, whoa.
20.
Like,
wait, I thought you said. So 10 Evercoin is the same as
1 EP.
One
EP.
ever
Okay,
piece, yeah.
I gotcha. Okay. I thought it was 100. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll give him two EP.
You do so. And he
New year,
accepts
new
it.
me.
He accepts it and hands you over the knuckles, so you can go ahead and add to your inventory steel knuckles.
Okay.
Great, you have a backup pair of those. And as you look a little bit more for your shopping, let's go ahead and see if you discover anything out of the ordinary. So I got my table up. I'm gonna have you roll a focus skill check as you go around and look at the different vendors that are here.
Okay, give me 1 second.
So you can go ahead and just make a note, and then like outside, you can.
Yeah. 15.
15. Ooh, really good roll. Okay. So as you make your way through, basically just throughout, you notice that there is some very interesting kind of oddities that you have seen from actually more Glyphon that exist. These ones look like traders from the Silverwood, actually. They're very kind of similar look and builds to Luxalia. You approach, and they have a plethora of different things, but one thing that actually catches your eye more so than anything is a very beautiful looking bow. It is actually a short bow, or a hunter's bow, and this bow is made of bamboo. And this is something that's really interesting. And then at another actually vendor, you see that it's a gold draken stand, and they have like kind of like your typical like iron forged things, but one thing that actually catches your attention more than anything is a set of 5 looking interesting arrows that also potentially you could purchase, and the arrows actually have a blackened tip, very different than like your typical kind of just arrow, and these tips look razor sharp. They might be something special if you want to ask.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask about them. So the bow is from Silverwood, and then the arrows are Draken,
Yes.
Golden Draken. Okay.
And so you ask about the arrows, and they actually mention to you that these arrow tips are made of shale. And so they're razor sharp, but they're incredibly brittle. And so essentially the purpose of them is you can launch an arrow with it, and typically the way that all works is if you wish so at the conclusion of battle, every arrow that you expend from your bow, you roll a dice and then you recover a certain amount of arrows. These ones you cannot recover because they break on impact, but they act almost as shrapnel, and so they deal actually extra damage on top of your attacks from just the one shot from it. So they're brittle, you can't recollect them, but they do extra damage upon impact. So.
Okay. And what about the bow? Anything special about the bow? Just that it's from Silverwood?
It's from the Silverwood, but it's bamboo. This is actually bamboo is a very, very difficult material to come from, and it's super sturdy. So it's like
Thordain has a bamboo longbow or something, right?
Yeah, you've seen
Yeah.
Thordain's bamboo longbow, but it definitely stands out far above anything else that you see from these traders. I mean, there's kind of just like some very like average looking stuff. But this one is just like immaculate. You're like, oh, this is cool. Not that you use hunting bows to begin with, but
Yeah.
it does stand out as something that's cool. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll think to myself, wonder if Luxali would like to see this. Maybe I should get it for her. I don't think no.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's super
that's not Belvin's
characteristic
way.
of Belvin.
I'll tell her about it later. Hey, I saw something you really like, but I think it'll be gone by the time you get there. And yeah, I don't think I want the arrows either, so I'll just continue on my way.
sweet. You do this for a bit of time. And as you make your way down to the beach, you notice that it's relatively empty. You can tell definitely the main festival seasons have kind of faded, and it's kind of getting into, really, really hot heat waves that are coming. You can't tell, though, if it's coming from the sun or from the volcano itself. For some reason, it seems hotter than normal out here on the beach, and you yourself are sweating quite a bit from that. So it's good that you got your nice haircut and that you're feeling good. It was worth it.
Ladies, I have arrived.
Oh no.
I will just go onto the beach, find myself a little, make myself maybe a little sand chair or something like that, and just lay down.
As you do that, I'm going to have you make a charm skill check for me.
Oh my
What's
goodness.
your charm, Belvin?
I am going to have to
One.
check.
You're gonna have to see. Actually, I can double check that.
It's 0.
Oh my lord.
But I rolled a 13.
You rolled a 13.
Yo.
So you strut your stuff. You actually very impressively make a chair out of the sand. You take some of the water from the ocean and like you use it like in perfect sandcastle form. You build up this chair and you begin to recline on it. It's perfectly situated where it's like just close enough to like the palm tree where like you get some like sunshine, but you also get some breather sometimes too, like as the sun begins to move. It's kind of perfect. And as you do so, you notice because there isn't so many people on this, nobody approaches you, unfortunately, during your time on this beach, but you look real good doing this.
Oh yeah, people are looking. They're just
people are looking.
intimidated.
Nobody's approaching.
People are looking.
You're almost too good looking.
That's just what Belvin needs.
You're this Adonis.
So needs his ego inflated. Alrighty, he's just gonna be chilling there, man, for the rest of the day probably.
You're feeling really good.
He didn't get his potions that he wanted, but I think the haircut's making up for it. He'll be fine in the next adventure without that. As long as his hair is nice and trimmed,
he gets
I
a
guess.
free hope roll from that, doesn't he?
Actually, yes. Go ahead and add hope to it. I like that.
Nice.
Yeah, you get hope. Sweet. That's really good.
Pro tip: bribe your DM. Or
one thing that you do see though, as you're lounging out, is you see this boat come into harbor, and it's a relatively small boat. and you can just barely make out the tint of what looks to be a silver glint along with blue flowing hair. The ship of Yuki and Zyl is just making port after another 3-day travel back to Aishen Island.
She's standing on the bow, sword pointed forward, boot up on the top on the top of it, and just looking majestic as Belbin is, but
Nice,
in a different way. Yeah.
Bill is standing the wrong way.
Yep. She's pointing
Standing
backwards.
backwards.
Yep.
No, actually, as you do that, we have, what is his name? Jordik. He chimes in. You've been doing this for a few days now. Aren't you quite tired of this position? You're not the one who is charting our courses. I am. And he kind of reclines, like very amused at this, as if like, are you like stuck in this position?
I'm just guarding our rear just in case anything attacks us. I've had too many encounters with it. In reality, she just thinks she looks cool, but she's a little embarrassed with being called out on her epic-looking pose that she has.
Indeed.
Yep.
Well, I do believe that we have news, and we need to make sure that we got everything in order before making our way back up to Malaysiak, and of course, a Concord. Is there anything that you wish to clarify before we make our way up? Anything that you wish to tell me that you haven't done so?
I'm assuming at this point, like in this entire boat
My
ride
question
over,
to you,
My answer to
as
you.
you make your way in, both you and Zyl, how much of your story are you willing to tell, and are you willing to keep out any information or add any information to?
Can Max and I talk about this a little bit?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Max, do you have any information that you feel should be kept? Obviously, I didn't hear anything that you were talking about to him when I was walking away, as far as the ending part goes.
I mean, Zill's not the most discreet guy, so you probably have to like nudge him if he's saying too much.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, I think they trust the dragon. I think she wants to tell is it Anders is his name? The guy
Yes,
who's with
Anders.
him? Okay, Anders. I think she's gonna tell Anders like that they did encounter the dragon, and basically he sensed evil down under, and then we went under by the earth pillar to check it out. I don't think she's going to mention anything about the rope itself. But she's going to show the nifty little bowstring. She's like, oh, look what we got. He wasn't able to get underneath, but he gave us this for checking it out underneath. And
Zyl, are you willing to comply with this, or is there anything that you are willing to add?
Zill is just very excited. He's like, guys, I gotta meet a dragon.
Yes. Everyone seems relatively amused by this, and some things that you're saying, especially like with the bowstring, you do notice that amongst the crew there are some kind of like almost envious eyes, almost like, I came on this journey, why didn't I not get something? But that being said, you haven't seen anyone that's acted aggressive at all by any means, or they just seem focused on doing their jobs. But throughout all of this, Anders has actually been much quieter on the return back and hasn't been pressing you too much on the questions. Basically, he accepts the things that you told him.
One other thing that she wants to mention is the fact that she brings back up, I don't know if she'd already previously mentioned it, but Yuki wants to say, and aren't there supposed to be people protecting this place? I know when we went underneath, it was completely abandoned. And so she's going to bring it up as like a question, like there should be people there kind of thing, as opposed to whatever we were told.
Essentially, he kind of repeats what Smoldran was saying about the basically the Order of Amandalius, and he's very concerned. Do you like mention the thing about like the robes that you found underneath?
Yeah.
All that detail?
Yeah. Like, she's not going to talk about like what they found, but she's going to talk about like that they encountered goblins and like rid the caverns of any evil that they had encountered, basically. So,
he basically that you could tell like that sits kind of heavy on his mind. Do you mention that Smoldran's gonna be chilling there?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so and I guess my next question is Yuki and Zyl. I know Belbin can't talk about this. Oh my gosh, Connor is now Adonis.
It's good.
I love it. Unfortunately, no one else on the stream can see it, but his I could do this real quick.
Yes.
Adonis.
Yes. I love it.
You guys basically, are you guys planning on tracking down or like telling Anders that you plan on tracking down the Order of Amondalius, or are you just keeping that to yourself too?
Well, maybe not necessarily right now. We're going back to report to Malaysiarch. I think that's something that should be said to Malaysiarch, but there's a lot of peeping toms around.
There's a few of them for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Zyl? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
You're gonna keep your mouth shut, or are you gonna be a blabbermouth? What does that
I'm gonna
mean?
keep my mouth shut.
Okay. All right.
Cool. So you guys make your way, you dock and everything, and you do see what looks to be obviously the Flortensia, the most beautiful ship in this harbor, definitely the biggest ship. And you see what looks to be kind of squinting up on the deck. Lots of work being done, actually. It seems that Duluth and his crew seem to have made their way quite at home here, and Gunter shouting out to them a bunch of commands and everything. Like, they seem to be doing it and picking up on it really quick. So that's what you notice from there. But you do also notice that kind of leaving actually the dock area, as if he was in a meeting. You see Krothos, and he is walking up, and he seems to have some kind of backpack on, like large backpack on.
Oh, Krothos! Long time no see.
Where are you going?
If it isn't my favorite silver draken and, the blacksmith himself.
Hello.
I am about to make my journey back towards Flomberge. You seem to have made your way out to sea. Did you find anything of interest out there?
We met Smoldran.
Did you now?
Go ahead and make an influence skill check.
Good thing you're freaking good at those, Zyl. Get it?
21.
Yo,
21.
freaking sick. Let's go.
And I'm inclined to believe you.
Do tell me, very few mortal beings have encountered that fire plug of a dragon and lived to tell the tale. Obviously, from what I've encountered with all of you, okay, my real question is Smoldran okay? He kind of looks at you, he looks at your axe, and he looks at Yuki's swords.
Yuki's not doing too good. She's poisoned still, so she's just like woozy. That's part of the reason why she was standing backwards.
Yes.
I mean, as far as we know, he's fine. We were helping him.
Good to hear. Well, I'm making my way up to go talk to Concord before my departure back. Any last-minute news? I'm pretty sure he would enjoy a nice story of, the long... I guess we saw him not too long ago, but the long-awaited tales of Smoldran.
Belbin, what are you doing at this moment? Do you just see them go up and you're just chilling on the beach, or do you wish to go greet them?
Yeah, I think I'll see them because it sounds like they've been there for a good bit of time. So I think I'll see them, get up out of my sandy throne, and head on over.
Yuki turns around and sees a figure moving towards her, and she squints, and she's just like, who is that Adonis I've never seen before? Under her breath. And then she recognizes it's Belbin, and she's just like, "Welp, it must be the poison."
Embarrassed
Go
that you
ahead.
thought he was
Go
so
ahead.
attractive.
Yuki, and make a charm survival check for me, or not charm survival check, a charisma survival check.
Charisma survival check. 12 plus something. What's my charisma? It's good. 12 plus 8. 20. Yeah.
20. Yeah, you recognize it's Belbin, and if it was anybody else, you would be like, "Ooh, that's nice."
I mean, she thought that initially.
Yeah,
She
like,
thought-
but it's just like he's like
She's never gonna admit it. Never,
Yeah,
will never
like
admit it.
it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's almost like your brother or like your like uncle that's like worked really hard on themselves, and you're just like, he looks good, but like I can't feel anything for him. So like, oh, that's nice. So, anyways, that's it. How are you guys going to respond to Belbin as he approaches?
It's gonna be like, "Woo, you clean up well." And she's just like, she looks him up and down and like uncharacteristically is dumbfounded.
My
I
eyes
guess.
are up here.
Yeah, as Yuki gazes longingly at his pecs.
Yeah. Well, it is. Oh, I guess it really is Belbin, and she just humph and just looks off to the side.
And as she does, she spins around and kind of off balance a little bit from her poisoning, and begins to start to follow Krothos up the hill.
And she says to Krothos, "Do you mind if we like rest for a little bit? I'm not feeling too great.
Hot and bothered.
Just, you know, I don't know if it's this heat that's getting to me, because it's really hot, right?"
Yeah, it's pretty hot. You guys notice as you approach this island that it was much cooler on Terra Bay Island, like much cooler. As if kind of like there was like almost like a breeze, but this day specifically feels really hot.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, you're kind of woozy. And then Krothos, he mentions, he's like, "Well, we have quite a walk up to the top. I guess we can go at a sauntering pace."
I need about a day to get rid of this wooziness I feel. Can we go at a sauntering pace so that I can catch my breath? And she's just woozy. "Do you mind postponing this journey a day? I apologize."
Go ahead and make a charm skill check.
Yeah.
You're really trying to convince this guy.
Yeah. Do I get any disadvantages or anything?
No, not from poisoning.
Okay, that's good. That's a 16 non-natural.
16?
Non-natural, yeah.
Perhaps I could postpone one day.
Thank you. Even if it's just out of pity, I appreciate it. And she swoons. She puts her hand over her brow, and she's like, "Oh, it's so hot today. Oh my gosh."
And with that, we're going to take a quick bio break. I drank 2 cups of coffee. We'll be right back, everybody.
It's a good opportunity for me to do so as well, because I got to pee too. So
All right,
anyone
cool.
else who needs to pee. Yeah, it's good. And then when I get back, I'll sing to y'all. It'll be gorgeous.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh no, I'm alone. Lonely. I'm so lonely. All by myself. Yeah. How's everybody doing? What's good? What's new? What's hip? What's happening? I'm not even on the screen. I'm just a disembodied voice. This is your conscience. Yuki's back.
I'm back. Hello.
I'm no longer all by myself.
I even washed my hands.
Wow.
Goodness gracious. I know. No, I didn't need to go that bad, but you know, since we're taking a little break, I might as well have done so. But Zyl, Max, how close were you to spilling the beans on the deets?
Too close.
God, I can't even with that. My goodness.
Zyl has no like social awareness.
No, yeah, I was impressed though with the fact that you were just able to, in general, like smooth talk a dragon. You did a way better job than Yuki did. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Maybe they can't hear me. But I also do have to say, that is the first time in 15 sessions I've had to take a potty break. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It be that way sometimes. Coffee blows right through you.
Oh yeah.
And it was nice because I was able to use it too. So. And,
All right.
you know,
Well, as we wait for Adonis to come back,
probably doing his fatherly role that he has.
he's back. He's back. Okay. Yes. So
Zyl
you guys...
has a very important question for him.
Go, Zyl.
Balbin, did you also discover bathing? Isn't it amazing?
I don't think I actually got in the water.
But you got a nice scrub down though. Part of your hair treatment.
Oh, that's
is
true.
the shampooing.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh God. Does he
For-
not
for
smell like
reference-
ass? Smell like an old man?
No, what
For reference to our lovely
actually
viewers.
he smells very faintly of coconut.
It's
Yeah,
my
Zyl, for
natural
reference.
musk.
When we
Sounds like
first got
coconut.
to Takai Town, we stayed at the Domen Onsen, and it was very nice. Very nice.
Zyl, had you ever taken a bath in your life before?
Zyl had never taken a bath.
Oh my lord,
So
that's disgusting.
when he got in, he's an orphan on the street in a
Rainwater.
big city.
Ugh.
When he got in there the first time, he lost it. He was so excited. He went up to everyone. He's like, guys, this is like the best thing. Does everybody know about this?
I'm gonna tell you, if you guys ever do get the opportunity, before we get going back into the game, if you guys ever have the opportunity to get here in Japan or even in Colorado, I know Colorado has a bunch of like nice hot springs and stuff like Glenwood Springs and whatnot. It's highly recommended. Hot springs are amazing.
I do have a
And-
warning though. Don't dip your head underneath the water. The sulfur can give you ear infections.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It can definitely
So-
give you ear infections, and here in Japan, that is super taboo. You wash before you go into the
Yeah,
water.
don't just go in dirty
It
from
wouldn't,
your day of
it wouldn't
travels.
surprise me though if Zyl did. He just cannonballed into the hot water.
Is that when we saw the monkeys though?
Yep,
and,
we fought the freaking monkeys. That was
Yeah.
they're throwing poo at us.
Kyle, was that a recorded session? Did we actually record that session?
I think so. I think it was like one of like. Ooh, was it?
I don't think we did.
It might have just been like a
that was-
practice battle session.
That was the session
was.
right before we started streaming. Like literally, that was the one right before we started streaming.
Yeah, we were testing out battle mechanics.
Oh my gosh, that was priceless. Didn't you almost die, Belbin, from poop being flung at you or something?
I don't remember. I don't think I almost died though. Did I?
Someone did. Someone almost got destroyed by the onsen monkeys.
I forget
Someone
who it was.
I think was it Thordane? It might have been Thordane.
Been Thornton.
I don't know. Someone was just getting manhandled by those monkeys. I'll tell you, they're vicious. Anyways, that's an aside. So.
I'm not gonna lie. I had some fun filling out the stat blocks for the onsen monkey. But anyway,
Like it was literally a mission with like they were like, oh my god, the onsen's overrun by monkeys. What are we gonna do?
No, we were in the onsen. We didn't have any of our gear.
I know, we'll take care of it, we all said, and then we just didn't know what we got ourselves into. So level 7 adventures going up against a horde of monkeys, and you know what? We barely came out alive.
it's okay. Things have been nice and smoothed out since then. So battle mechanics are a little bit better. Anyways, so you guys continue up this path, going back to the here and the now. And you make your way to the festival plaza, and you actually notice walking through town is Thordane as well. He seems to be carrying something with him. It actually looks to be a fresh catch of some kind of like large cat-looking creature. Yeah, it's interesting. You can tell he had just freshly hunted this, and he looks like he just came back from hunting. Like, at his travels, none of you had seen anything from him, but he is making his way up to the Domon Onsen with like literally like the dead body of this giant cat creature.
And Yuki pipes up and says, "Wow, you and Belbin have really switched places, haven't you? Dude, my goodness, I must be sick or something. What am I seeing?" And she is just thinking she's crazy right now at this moment. It's a fever dream for her.
Thordane looks and says, "Haven't you ever hunted before?"
No.
I guess we just saw a dragon. Did you see a dragon too?
No.
Oh, that's right. You're probably just doing your science. I understand. I gotcha. Is this one
Don't
of your
mistake
experiments?
me with a dragon.
He leans over and he looks at both Belbin and Zyl and kind of like almost like this look like, is she okay?
Nope. No, I'm not doing great.
She's fine.
I'm not doing great.
Well, I was going to go take this. I did this as a favor to some of the owners up here at one of these hotels, and he actually points over to one of these fancy-looking hotels. There has been some trouble with a creature of this size, this stature, that's been causing problems, stalking up and down the corridors at night, and I took care of it for them. So I'm going to go deliver it to them, and I will meet you up at the.
Does he get anything nifty that I can add to his inventory?
Not yet.
Sweet. All right.
So, yes. Yeah, you guys go off without him, and you make your way up to the top level. Which way are you guys going to go? Are you going to go have your conversation? Because that's the way that Anders and Krothos both seem to be going. Do you wish to go to the onsen?
I mean, at this point, I think the conversation's probably the important part. I mean, Yuki's not feeling it, but, you know, if the rest of you guys are just going to follow, she'll follow.
I'm just following. I'm along for the ride.
Yes, Belbin's very much along for the ride, but yeah, just kind of following.
Yep,
okay,
I guess.
So you guys make your way up to this basically giant town hall. You make your way inside, and sitting there, kind of at the end of the like long table, is Malaziark. And she's kind of like sitting there with her like hands in her, kind of like leaning over, looking at the map, in much detail. And Anders, he goes ahead and he knocks, and he's like, "Madame, we have returned." And she kind of looks up and says, "Well, you've made quick work of that, and I see that you are all flesh and bone. Do come, what do you have to say? What is this dragon? Oh, wait!" And she calls to the back, "Concord! Concord!" And you see the Draken man, he comes out of the back room, and it looks like he has what looks to be some kind of tea in his hand. And he makes his way down, and he has a seat, first giving the group of you a small bow. "What news do you bring of Smoldran?"
Zyl, do you want to talk? And Yuki's just like looking around and thinking that it's just a fever dream. This entire thing is a fever dream.
Smoldran, he needed some help with some stuff. He's fine now. We helped him out. He was looking for some artifact that was cursed, maybe. And
both of their eyes kind of like widen a little bit, and they lean in as if to hear more of your story.
Did you guys already tell Belbin this story on the way up, or is this his first time hearing it too?
I don't know. I mean, Yuki didn't tell, if anything. Yuki's
Okay.
just in her own little
And
world.
this is
Zyl had.
actually news as well
Three Anders is
to
too.
Anders. Basically everybody in the room.
Yuki says, "What are you talking about? You mean this?" And Yuki pulls out the bowstring that she got from Smoldran.
That was our reward.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it?
It was some cursed rope of some kind that we needed that could like corrupt a
Oh yeah,
dragon.
that thing. I didn't feel very good when I touched it. Maybe that's why I'm not feeling so great.
She likes to just go and grab whatever's in front of her. It's
Yeah,
Bevan will take a step back then.
it's got her in trouble a lot before. I
yeah,
think she might be poisoned.
yeah. I mean, it definitely feels like it. And then she just vomits on the floor.
Belvin takes another step back. I just got my hair done.
Does anybody
sorry.
know how
I
to
don't-
help
I-
her?
I just need some rest. Give me 24 hours and I'll be fine, I think. And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't usually do this. And she gets down on her hands and digs through her gloof bag and just takes out one of her spare like day clothes and just starts wiping it up off the floor.
Oh.
And she's like, I'm sorry. She's all flustered and she's just, not her usual self. She's poisoned. She's not feeling great,
Quick story time. That's better than, at least you're cleaning it up. That's better than what I've seen here in Japan. Like, it always seems to be like whenever it's past 10 o'clock and I'm like on the train at night, there's always someone in my car that just blows chunks. Always. Every time. And thank God they wear a mask because it doesn't projectile, but it's still really gross. Anyways, sorry, side note.
So yeah, Yuki's doing that. Does she get it? Does she have to roll anything for that?
No. It's
All right.
fine. I mean, you're not trying to do anything. You're just
No, I'm just
Bleeding.
poisoned.
yeah.
Roll a d16.
Oh, heck yes. All right, let's see. See what I get. Everyone do it, not just me. Here we go.
Okay. I'll roll a d16.
That's a 7.
Just a straight D16?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's a
I don't
channel
know.
thing.
It's a 3.
Yeah, it is. A 3. God, we're rolling. At least
All right, we
get it out
need
of
to
the
like
system.
create rules for this or something. Like
my
the person, like of all, like if it's redeemed during this, like the person that gets the highest needs to get something good, and then the person who gets the lowest needs to get something bad.
All right.
Nat 16.
That's 16.
Yikes.
Belbin. Can I roll for it? No, Thornton's not there. Is Luxalia there? No. So
No,
Belbin got the
nice.
worst.
So okay, what do we
No,
have?
Kyle, what did you get?
First,
did you
first Connor, what did you get?
I got a 3.
3. Yuki, what did you get?
7.
7. And then natural 16 for Zyl.
Yeah.
I got a 14.
Nice.
All right, we
All
need
right,
to decide. Chat, decide what the number 1 person does within reason and what the last person does within reason. So,
Belvin just
enjoy
loses
that
control
as
of his
you go.
bowels.
Maybe we'll do something at the end of the stream.
Important clarification within reason.
Within reason.
Zyl just stumbles across a Refinium battle axe.
I understand that a ton of things can happen, but that channel point redemption is only 777 points. So I think
There's
I
a
have
limit.
like 87,000. So
There's a limited amount of times per stream people can do it. I don't remember how many I did it, but like only one person or only the person who redeems it can only do it once per stream, and I think it's 5 redemptions per stream. So
good to know.
maybe just the first time it's done for Everlast. That is, you have
Yeah,
to
there
do
you go.
something crazy. But
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll like create like some kind of like roulette thing that like on my end I could just do like either like a random loot table or something. I'll figure it out later. But
didn't you
think
need
about some stuff on
Damascus
things.
iron or something, or Damascus?
Woot,
yeah,
I did
Damascus
what?
ingot.
Ingot.
Yeah, Woot's ingot you needed, right? Yeah.
I need like, how many do I need? Theoretically 6.
Oh my gosh. So yep, you come across 6 with that nat 16. It's nice.
I mean, I need him to make 3 hand axes, so
Oh, gotcha.
two makes 1. So
Gotcha.
With that being the case, though, the group, they are inside this, and you mentioned, so as you pull out the bowstring, Mlaziarch's eyes, almost as if she completely forgets, like, what's going on, and she, like, gazes at, like, the bowstring, like, transfixed. However, Concord, he still seems more concerned about the curse, and he continues further. Did you say a cursed rope?
Yes. Yes, I did. Not that one. That one's nice. We like that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And she's just on her knees, you know.
Where is
doing her
this
best.
rope now?
Smoldran has it.
When he kind of like closes his eyes a little bit, he looks a little bit at Krothos and then back at you. Anyways, so you say you traveled to this island in order to, well, as you traveled to this island, you discovered that Smoldran was there for the sole purpose of seeking out a cursed item, and he gave you a string in return.
I mean, it's a really
Yes.
pretty string, and she's just smearing the vomit all over the floor. It's not, their clothes aren't doing a great job of picking up any of it. And she's like, it's pretty nice. It looks really, like, you know, it seems like it gives me, like, an aura. I think it's nice. My gloof bag really enjoys it.
And what of
But
you? He looks at Belbin as Belbin's kind of like not really paying attention, not really, also doesn't really seem to understand much of what's going on.
Just say, hey, this is the first I'm hearing of all this too, dude. I just found these guys on the beach.
And then he looks back at Zyl, as if Zyl's the only one capable of answering or bringing
And
light to any questions.
Yuki turns to Belbin and goes, what did you call me? And she gets up and she's just like with vomit all over her hands. You want to tussle, big boy?
I'll try to hit.
No,
Yuki.
no! Oh my gosh!
I won't use any like knuckles or anything.
Alright,
I can just do
All right,
it.
so it's gonna just be a straight, basically D16.
Yep. And she's taking it. She's not in any position to fight back.
All right, so go ahead and roll 1d4 then, and then add your physical modifier.
Yep.
Okay. Physical modifier is gonna get you, Luke.
Oh my god!
Or, Yuki.
Oh my lord!
What
What is going on here?
Let me see.
This
physical
has gotten us into trouble in the past. So I shouldn't have done that. But
10
she's not.
points of damage.
Oh my lord! Just knocks a tooth out in the process.
Yuki stands up and is just like, "Are you talking to me?" Just kind of goes forward. Like,
And she's like, I didn't hear no bell, and then she just like passes out on the floor.
yeah, just like, yeah. Belbin like stands clear, is like, don't touch me, and then just boom, just like pops her right in the face, and then she's like, I didn't hear no bell.
Yuki, I'm doing you a favor. You're starting your 24-hour rest right now instead of delaying it.
And she'll just take a nice little snooze. Sounds good.
All right, Zyl. How are you going to complete this conversation?
What's happening?
Excuse that. That's shockingly normal for us.
Speak for yourself. Yuki usually the voice of reason in these situations.
There was concern about the safety of the Earth Pillar, which we already had fought to cleanse once. So I was surprised that we needed to go back, because we've been there before. And, so we went down, we found some goblins. They were singing a song. We killed them. It was fun. It was very fun. I feel like I learned more about my axe that day.
Zyl,
And-
did you see bagpipes while you were down there? What were they playing? Fun fact: Belbin can play the bagpipes.
What?
What?
why didn't we know this information before? Yuki doesn't know. She's sleeping.
It's from the
so.
very start. Yeah, it's just never come up. I've been,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah,
We'll have to
back
get you
in the
some
back in the
bagpipes.
D&D days, Belbin knew how to play
Yeah.
bagpipes. He had proficiency with bagpipes.
I'm sure I can. It'll take a little bit of practice, but I could bring it back out.
I don't remember what they were playing,
Oh, you'd know bagpipe if you heard it.
but so we killed them. We found the rope. It was. I remember he said like it was made from the earth itself. I think is what Smoldran said. So then we took it back to him, and he kept it. It was a big rope, big rope. Somehow it can like corrupt dragons, I think. Well, it can corrupt anyone, but also dragons, which is very concerning.
They
Hence
listen
why
intently.
he wanted it. And then we also found a lot of torn robes from the
Yuki whispers in her sleep like she's having a wonderful dream. The Amandalius.
Order of Amandalius,
Just...
which was very concerning to Smoldran. This is the first I've heard of them, but he was not happy about it.
And they kind of stop you there, and Malaysiarch says, "You found robes, but nothing of the Order of Amandalius.
No, I don't think we even saw him.
Indeed."
So we had a lengthy conversation on how the Earth Pillar needed to still be protected, and we should go track down the Order, or what's left of it, and he volunteered to be its temporary guardian.
Concord, he chimes in. Dragons. And he kind of just like rolls his eyes. The faster we find the Order of Amandalius and restore their protection of this place, the better. I don't know how much you know about dragons, particularly of Smoldran. Smoldran lets power get to his head. I do fear if we do not hurry in this task, in replacing those to protect the Earth Pillar, Smoldran will claim that place as his own, and thus no one will be able to visit. That is one of few of the pillars that are actually visitable by people. And the Order of Amandalius released it to the world in order for them to not forget the histories of this place, this great world.
Okay.
And dragons are dragons. Can't trust them as far as I can throw them.
How far can you throw a dragon?
Exactly.
Okay, good point.
They're thick ass boys.
I mean, he seemed nice to me. Except for when I think he threatened to eat me at some point. I don't remember.
Yes. Words from the mouth of serpents. Not saying that Smoldran himself is all bad. I wouldn't say he's bad at all, but he is careless and he is reckless. And he doesn't quite understand the power which he holds. And that's what makes him dangerous. The fact that you're here with us today is proof that perhaps we can do some talking to him. But I think what is most important of all is we report this news back to Lord Concord, but not Concord. Oh no.
Nalgoric.
Nalgoric Cragheim. Different people. Lord Nalgoric. What say you? And then he looks at you, and then he also looks up and gazes at Crowvault as well. Will you guide them back to our city, to Flamberge? And Crowvault, without any basic hesitation, explains that they are the group of Ecclas are his welcomed guests. You said that this one needs a little bit of time to rest.
Yes.
Post haste, first thing in the morning, then.
What time is it?
It's probably nearing like the late afternoon currently.
That should be enough time if she goes to bed right now. Straight to bed with you.
Oh, she's already asleep. I'll stop out. Someone's gonna have to carry her or something because Belbin hit her pretty good in the face.
Malaysiarch, she says, and before you leave, tell me, this string, this is specifically gifted to you, is that correct? And it's talking to Zyl. Obviously, Luxalia is on the ground.
Luxalia is studying.
Not
Yuki's
Luxalia.
on the ground.
Yuki is on the ground.
I mean, it was gifted to the two of us.
Building castles in the sky. Yuki sucking her thumb. It's got vomit all over it and stuff. It's nice. And she's cuddling that string like it's a teddy bear. It's good.
I see. Well, and then she kind of like snaps out of it. Off with you. It seems like you have quite a lot to do, quite a lot of rest before you depart.
Yes, probably.
Now that our questions are answered, and now that we know the purpose of Smoldran being at Terabay, I think we can finally start thinking about acting accordingly and perhaps bolstering some of our high alert security to see just what that serpent intends to do.
Belbin, who has obviously had nothing to do with any of this, will just say, there's no reward for this information.
Belbin, dear lord.
You, my friend. I
You,
don't
my
even know
friend.
why you are here. You weren't charged with this task. I understand that you're part of this group. But from all what I have heard, it was the two of them that made their way and confronted Smoldran.
Yeah, and Zyl worked hard. I can take Yuki's portion while she's on the ground.
Don't give him anything that's not his.
I just think that they put their lives on the line for you, and you're just gonna say good job and
Belbin,
grab him.
yo! Look
Go
at
ahead and
you.
make an influence skill check for me.
Oh my gosh, that's 0 as well.
Let me check. Influence.
It can't be.
No,
it's a 3.
not.
It's a 3,
Yeah,
right?
It's a 3, yeah. Ooh, 17. Rolled a
Yo,
14.
Belvin.
Fine. And she goes and she, under the table, she pulls out a small chest. And she opens it up and she tosses 2 bags to Zyl. In each of those bags are going to be 30 Evercoin.
All right,
Ooh.
it's not bad. I'll take it.
All right, so then what's Yuki get?
She gets the
30
Evercoin.
Evercoin.
No, but those are just Zyl. She just gave them to Zyl.
Yeah, and Zilla's gonna give you.
What about Yuki's portion?
One of these is to me, one of these is to Yuki.
She just like kind of like narrows her eyes and it's just like,
It's going
They put their
straight
lives
over
on the
Zyl's-
line. You don't
going
care about that?
Straight over Zyl's head. Nice.
please leave and take your friend with you. And Zyl kind of like gestures down to Yuki.
And I just off to the side of, a little time in jail might help him. Just
Time for jail for what?
Yuki's left arm is starting to twitch, and she's just like, "Come at me, evil
Just the thought of Zyl throwing Belvin in prison for just questioning while he's hearing for being sassy.
It might
I can
straighten
just picture Zyl or Belvin is at this point. It's like Jersey Shore, kind of just like throwing the sass.
It's hitting the fan while Yuki's unconscious. She's not even here to defuse. Nice.
All right, so are you guys gonna plan on leaving, or is there anything else that you wish to do?
Yeah, I can grab Yuki's legs and just drag her out.
Oh
Of there.
man.
But
Yes.
I grab
before
the
we
other
do,
side of her.
like the other leg, or do you want to pick up her
She's,
arm? So
she's
not
really
Pick up her
heavy,
arms.
by the way.
Okay.
She's like 200 pounds, I think.
Dude, have you seen me lately? I am.
Yeah. And then she's got her bag on
cut
top of
and ready
it.
to go.
Yeah, it's true. Belbin's strong boy.
Before we leave, though, I'll glare at what's her face. I don't know. I don't even think I caught her.
Drakens are thick, Zyl. They got scales on them and stuff.
That's true.
And typical Belvin fashion, not the first time he's done this, poop on the floor. Then
Oh, Belvin.
And I just look back and I'm like, see?
make a mind survival check.
Oh
Belvin.
my gosh. What
Take
is
money.
going on
Ooh,
here?
Okay, what's my mind? No, I'm sorry, guys. I need to know this better.
No, it's all good. No problem.
I can't even find. Oh, miner's right there. Non-natural 16.
Oh my
Natural
gosh.
16. Yeah, you do so, and as you do so, you give a little kind of fake courteous bow, and you just leave, and she's just like, take a look, and you find great pleasure in this. But you do leave, and as you do so, you hear some snapping, and it says, "Anders, take care of this." And you
Oh,
just hear like,
poor Anders. Not only having to clean up vomit and freaking dookie. Oh. Oh,
it's your average day in San Francisco.
I guess, but my goodness. All right.
You leave. As you do so, you all kind of go your separate ways, finishing resting up for the night, and you all plan, I'm assuming, to meet in the Domon Onsen before your departure in the morning. You do so. The night is, very, very peaceful. But one thing that you each do notice is it is still sweltering hot. To the point where you begin to open your windows to feel the breeze, but the breeze itself is hot. And it's not like the humid heat that you get from just like the onsens down below, but it's just like this unnatural heat, but there's like no way to find to really cool yourselves off. So as you sleep, I'm going to have each of you make fortitude survival checks for me.
Oh, good. I'm good at that.
Zyl, can you also roll for Luxalia and then
Yeah, I can do Thordain.
for Thordain, yes.
Okay, fortitude. All right.
Sorry, what kind of a check was that?
Fortitude survival. So Yuki got a 19.
Okay.
Thordain got. Oh, he's got decent fortitude. What the heck? Thordain got an 11.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Zyl got a 19, and
Yo, freaks.
Salia got a 11.
You all somehow, with this heat, I don't know if it was just the events of the day, hard studying, hard hunting, hard pooping.
The haircut.
Haircut, yeah.
Oh,
You
no.
all
Ego
actually-
boost on the beach.
you all are able to sleep through the night actually without much issue. You do wake up in the morning and you are greeted with a kind of similar sweltering heat. And you make your way down to the lobby and to where the place where you all meet up, and you see Krothos. He is down there with his bag, all kind of prepped and ready to go on his shoulders. And he calls out, "Are you ready?"
First time football? Wait, what?
Yuki's rubbing her eyes, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, What the heck? Was that all a fever dream? Where are we going? She's still in her pajamas.
We're on
She's
our
still in her-
way to Flamberge today. And if this heat gets to you, you wait until you make it to my beautiful city, right at the base of Aishen volcano.
Oh, it is a little hot now that you mention it. Let me go change really quick. And she leaves and comes back like 10 minutes later. All changed in ready to go.
Mhm.
And she says, Is there anything that we should know before we head to Flamberge? Is anything we should pack? I mean, it's really hot today. I don't know how we're going to be able to do anything when we get there with
Yuki,
this
you
heat.
should know that we got paid for your guys' little quest yesterday.
Oh, really? You did
And
something
I
useful, Belbin.
Toss her the bag of 30 EC.
Yo, freaking thank you. This is great. All right, where do
Let
I
me
put
have
that?
half of that.
You know what? Maybe if you had asked me yesterday, that would have been a yes. But you know what? She rubs her face. Don't think I've completely forgotten, you scoundrel. It's a good thing you look so good right now with your haircut. Otherwise...
Any last minute things before you depart?
Are there any potions that we can get on the way out or no?
As you make your way down, I'm going to allow each of you to make, the three of you, to make a focus skill check. See if there's anything new today.
Yep, that's nice. Yep, that's nice. Well, Thordain rolled a natural 1. Yuki rolled a natural 1. So
Zyl rolled the natural one.
Oh my lord! What is going on here?
I rolled a 15.
What is happening?
The rest of the party is a single track mind. They're ready to go. They're like, we're ready to leave this place. And Belton's like, I'm still looking for potions. All right, let me go ahead and pull up. See
Where do we put our money, by the way? Where is that?
It's going to be
located?
in your inventory at the very top. Inventory? No,
No,
on
it's
your main page.
It's on stats down
Yeah, stats
bottom
page.
rightish. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, it's been total time since I've looked. Okay. So as you are looking, you do notice what looks to be some kind of apothecary has set up shop. This is different than any apothecary that you have seen. However, upon exploration and looking, you do find that there is a simple healing potion and a simple healing herb for sale.
Okay. How much are they?
So the simple healing potion, she is going to attempt to sell for 11 EC. And the healing herb, she's going to attempt to sell for 4 EC.
Does she just have one of both?
One of both.
I'll take one of both. So that'd be 15 total,
EC.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a pleasure
Got
doing
it.
business with you. She seems very
too,
like
madam.
happy, like almost like she just set up shop and like you're like buying her out of like her valuable stuff. So she's pretty happy to get a payday. It's pretty good.
Cool.
Sweet. So go ahead and add those to your inventory, and
Will
you
do.
have made your way into the forest. So the jungle itself is just as oppressive as you remember. However, it actually feels cooler than the beach, actually. Being underneath the trees and kind of blocking from the sun, it does provide a little bit of some respite. And as you make your way onto the path, you notice that you're slowly beginning to make your way into an incline. From what Krothos has mentioned of this trail, from what he knows and how well traveled he is on this path, it is going to be about a 2-day march, just normal pace. And he doesn't plan on going anything faster than that, but just with the dense forest and the jungle, as it were, and sticking to the path, you guys are able to trudge through. And actually, on this path, one thing that you do encounter is there is, well, I guess the lack of encounter is nothing really bothers you. It's
relatively well traveled, and you can tell there's not actually like stone or anything through it, but it's like very hard dirt. So it's easy to stay on the path, and there's nothing that's really drawing you away from the path. You just, making your way through this jungle.
Make your way
You
down to-
about a day and a half in, you notice that Krothos, he has slowed his pace down a little, but he looks around as if he has some kind of, can't tell if it's confusion or some kind of thing that's going on in his mind, but like it's actually affected him so much where like your guys' pace is slowed down slightly.
Yuki pipes up. Is everything okay? We seem to be doing okay. It's just keep going forward, right? And
He glances back and also like suspiciously scans the jungle immediately to his left. And as you kind of look at kind of follow his gaze, you notice what looked to be a break in the jungle trees. And this break is literally a broken tree trunk that has been just completely broken in half. I'm going to have you make Yuki a wisdom skill check for me.
that's good. That is an 18.
18.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 18. Sorry. 18.
Something that you remember is one thing that he told you was he had actually a companion. Him and a companion were traveling back, and they were supposed to return to Flomberge earlier. And this could potentially be either the place where they were kidnapped or the place where the troll had confronted them.
She gives him a comforting pat on the back, realizing this, and says, well, there's no time like the present. Let's keep moving forward. And she digs through her bag, like in her pocket and stuff, and takes out the little symbol that she has that she found in the cavern, and puts it in his hand and just continues on.
He accepts it gratefully. Question, Zyl. This is kind of just a clarifying thing. Did you ever take back the Warhammer, or does he still have it?
I thought he gifted. Yeah, I thought he gifted it to him.
I couldn't remember if you gifted it to him just until you got back to Takai Town, or if you just.
That was the initial deal, but I think after seeing him with it, I changed my mind.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you notice that he is still carrying that. It's as if like there's a kind of a little sentimental meaning to it, but you can tell he's been practicing like swinging this and wielding it. Like he holds it very comfortably at this point as you continue to march along. About a half a day later, you notice that the sky itself begins to darken, and the canopy above, you notice there's no longer any sunlight coming through. But you begin to hike up and up into what seems to be the base of the mountains. And the cool night air, from what you were expecting, you are embraced with a very warm kind of... You smell what seems to be kind of... It's almost kind of like a smoky... just like as if there's like something is on fire. As you make your way upwards. And he mentions, and he turns back and he says, "Don't you worry. You don't need to cover your mouth. It's just a smell that you need to get used to." As you make your way upwards. As you do so, you notice on the horizon a large looming volcano has made its way basically into your eyesight, rising far, far, far above you. And this volcano is enormous. And you can see that this trail has now started to become more of a stone path. It's inclined just enough to where you don't need stairs, but like if you're not careful and you fell, like you would be tumbling down a side of like a hill as you begin to basically reach this incline. And you see up ahead, also what looks to be a stone wall, and what looks to be a gate as well. Is there anything that you want to do before you begin to make your approach?
Yuki looks at Krothos and asks him, "Is there any kind of mannerisms that we need to show in order to interact with Lord Nalgoric or anything? Is there any customs that we should know before going in? We don't want to appear rude."
Rude. It remains to be seen, but he is a king after all. He is a just man. But it's not him that you should be worried about.
Oh.
Oh,
The people of Flomburge are relatively kind to keep to themselves, but it is not a common occurrence to see outsiders. And he looks at each and every one of you. Obviously, none of you are Draken, other than Yuki, and it's a completely different kind of Draken.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I do ask is you are my personal guests. As long as you stay with me, no one will question you.
Okay.
However, if you break any of the laws while we're here, if you do anything to stain my name, and he kind of glances at all of you.
Yuki glances at Belbin.
Belbin glances at Yuki.
Zyl just kind of stands there and smiles awkwardly.
Thordane takes his crown off his head that he's been diddling with and puts it in his bag.
There's only so much that I can do to protect you from the laws of this land.
We could probably handle ourselves, don't you think, guys?
It's
Well-
possible.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem, though. I think we can definitely handle ourselves. But, I mean, I think we worked this hard to get such a nice reputation with Krothos, the wonderful Krothos and his kindred Draken. I feel like it'd be a shame to let it go to waste, right? Right?
One man's opinion.
Belbin, you look so good. Have I ever mentioned that?
For once, the smell you guys smell isn't me, huh?
Oh.
You begin to finally make your approach as awkward glances have been exchanged. And you notice that there is active lava just to the left of the gate. And there's this giant bridge that seems to span what looked to be a crevice that falls nearly 30 feet down. It doesn't seem like there's any active lava directly beneath the bridge, but there is a drop to the left where you can tell that this is kind of overflow, that if any lava were to pile up, this is basically where it would go. But this bridge extends over the top of it, and you see and you hear what seems to be ashes falling from the sky and the rumbling of what seems to be a volcanic activity. You approach the gate, and up on the top, there's about a good 12 individuals. They're Draken, clearly gold Draken, and they're clad in this scale-looking armor, gold scales to match their just golden appearance. And they take one look down at you and see that Krothos is there. And Krothos, he basically hails them and says, "I have guests to see the king." And immediately the gates open without a second word, without even any response. And Krothos makes his way with the group of you through the streets into the city of Flomburge. Flomburge, as you enter, is a city that is, again, built at the base of this mountain, and it's kind of difficult to tell some of the elevation if you're looking at this mountain. But as you enter, you're kind of at the lowest point of the city. And directly to your right, you have what looks to be a market street, but also a bunch of houses and barracks and that kind of stuff for the front wall. and it's relatively on the same kind of level until off in the distance it crosses over into what looks to be a hillock that builds its way up into the mountains. And you see what look to be almost lava-like rivers that flow through basically this entire city. Again, it's still probably about a good 30 feet down from overflowing into the main city, but it's almost like a waterfall-like appearance. This is a very active volcano, and it seems to be coming from what looks to be the base of Aishen volcano. In the middle of the city, you notice that there is a fortification too, and this fortification looks old, super old, much older than actually the outer walls of Flomberge, as if it's some kind of the original construction of this place. And within the middle, you see a small, it's not quite a mountain, but a spire. It's a large outstanding outcrop of rock that, is part of the mountain. And it's almost like an exact replica of the volcano, and you see what looks to be a fire kind of smoldering out from the tip of it. And it seems like the entrance is behind that secondary wall. If you look off to your left, it's very hilly and it climbs rapidly upwards. And as you climb up, it looks to be a lot of residential type structures. And especially in this area, a lot of the structures are built into the mountainside itself. And so a lot of these dwellings where these Draken live are primarily made of stone and the basically rock, the metamorphic rock that you see throughout basically the mountain. And it seems to be built in order to keep the heat out. But you see that there are a decent amount of Draken that are just walking around, and it doesn't seem to be bothering. Like the heat itself coming from these lava pools don't seem to be bothering. They seem relatively comfortable. And it is at that moment that you realize that you enter these walls, and just the sheer heat from the magma begins to really grate on each and every one of you. And it actually seems to take a particular effect against Yuki. She begins to feel immediately sapped of her traditional energy. She not so much where she's unable to do anything, but it's like this feels unbearably hot specifically to Yuki, and it's almost her body is like working overtime to keep her body temperature down.
This is why I'm glad I slept that off, because man, I would have been done for if I had come in here and been sick.
It's a bit toasty.
I do like that I got my hair cut yesterday. That was a good move. Little did I know.
And Luxalia stands there quietly, and Thordane, studying his surroundings, is very stoic. However, that being said, as you find yourself in the center of this city, and this is a city, it looks larger in scale than Takai Town. And it winds. It seems like the streets don't really have any rhyme or reason to it. It's the convenience of, where there's buildable land. And so you make your way throughout the city, and actually Krothos doesn't take you to the left and the upcline, he takes you to the right. And as you climb kind of through this area, immediately you're greeted by what looks to be barracks on your immediate right, and a small little town square and what looks to be a tavern-looking thing to your left. You go through a street, a market street. A bunch of tents are set up, and it's all Draken who are manning these. And it's all kinds of things from, just maybe some like household goods, some traveling goods, food, all kinds of things. And some of this food looks very odd to you. Like you've never seen anything like it. But it almost as if like everything is like dried, kind of jerkified. Like jerkified, is that a word? Like jerky, kind of. Or
It is now.
Yeah, it's a word now. Jerkified. And as you make your way to the end of this street, you notice it starts to become more residential as you make your way through buildings. And again, you notice to your right more buildings built into the side of the mountain, but you eventually cross over to this long walkway that is almost overwhelmingly hot coming directly from your left. And you could tell Krothos took the way that he did to keep you primarily away from the lava. However, there's no way to be able to make your way through. So you're forced to make your way to the side. I'm going to have each of you make a fortitude survival check as you make your way. And Yuki, you're going to be making yours with struggle.
Okay.
Is Luxalia here?
She is.
Should I roll for her?
Yes, please.
You said
Can someone
fortitude.
Can someone give me hope?
You have it.
You have it.
Oh yes, I do. Okay.
You have it from
Yo.
sunbathing.
Yo, freaking Belbin.
Much better.
Clutch.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
That was a nat 1. You said it was fortitude?
Fortitude.
20 for me.
20 for Belvin. All right.
19 for Zyl and a nat 16 for Luxalia.
Yo, freaking sick. 11 for Yuki and 20 for Thordane.
So this heat doesn't surprise, and almost as if the heat from Takai Town has kind of prepared you for this. Yuki, you look down into the lava and it's quite terrifying, and there's kind of a small like rock wall barrier that keeps anyone from from just falling in.
Oh my gosh, would we have fallen in if we had failed that?
No,
Oh
no,
my
no,
god.
no.
Woo.
Yeah, that's more like agility checks, so careful.
Okay.
Just kidding. But you walk near the lava, and the heat is oppressive, but you haven't been here long enough for it to really take much of a toll. And you take a right more into kind of the city square area, and you see what looks to be a guard tower, but also this interesting looking emporium that you see to your right. And there seems to be it's a big marketplace that sells all kinds of things, but primarily iron forged goods. And there's a couple Draken that are there, but you don't see a whole lot of people or Draken that are frequenting it. You saw more people in the market street, as it were. You cross this bridge, and on either side, again, you're protected by a stone wall on each side, and there's flames just like licking, like molten hot magma licking both sides of this bridge, and it is over the top, and so there's about a good 30-foot drop between. But you make your way through into what looks to be a kind of a more wealthy district. There is a place that actually kind of catches Thordane's eye directly to the left. It is what looks to be a study facility for the volcano. And this is something that, just again, it's as a man of science, this kind of piques his interest. And directly to the right, what looks to be a specialized looking distillery for alcohol creating purposes. And then you're greeted with more houses, but you immediately take a left, and then there is a large guard tower that right before you make your way to this inner wall, and there is a gate. And again, Krovalt, he mentions that he is on basically official duty from Nalgoric, and they immediately let him in, and you're led into a courtyard. You make your way into the courtyard, and it becomes immediately cooler. There's no access from the outdoor lava, but you see as you enter into this courtyard area, the base of this large mountain-like structure in the center of Flomberge. And it is at the very base of it has this large entryway, as if like it started out as a mine, like a hole to a mine, but it's been built up and around it. There's statues actually of large Draken-like figures, completely made of gold, that stand on either side of this these stairs that go up into this mountain. And you are greeted with like this kind of perfect obsidian flooring that greets you in, and he takes you directly inside the heart of this place. And as you rise, you take a step up, and you have this strange feeling that you are growing closer and closer to kind of almost like the heart of the world. Like there's no windows or anything, and it's as if time itself seems to like not exist anymore. You are lit basically on either side. It's a long corridor on either side. There's these sconces that light the way. but it's not kind of your typical view of like a mine or anything. You don't hear any dripping of water. There's no sense of dampness or anything that exists within here.
Is there organ playing in the background ominously?
There is no ominous organs playing.
Okay.
But you look up and you gaze at the ceiling, and it is glittering with all kinds of, not necessarily jewels themselves, but what look to be all kinds of ores and everything. And this light from these torches are just reflecting off these metallic surfaces all throughout the halls. And eventually it opens up into this broader hall to where there's 3 different paths that you can go. One to your right, one to your left, and one forward. The one forward goes up a stair. The one to the right, you can actually see what looks to be a large, almost kind of like fire-like torch glow coming from, but more so than just like typical torches. And to your left, it seems pretty dark, but it's still lit by torches, essentially. He takes you straight up the middle. You take more steps until eventually you come, and this whole time you see these guards, Draken, that are standing guard, completely decked out in basically combat gear. They all eye each and every one of you incredibly suspiciously. Again, visitors from the outside are not something that basically common, but nobody questions you. You are here on official business with apparently Crowvault, who seems to be a relatively important member, or at least they respect him to a certain degree. You make your way upwards into what looks to be a center hall, and at the very end, you see a large golden throne, and on either side, there's like these large tapestries that hang down, and the exact same logo that you saw on the little pin is on each of the tapestries. And you see a very regal looking Draken, and he sits up and he has really good posture. He doesn't basically show any signs of laziness or anything, as if this Draken takes his job very seriously. And you hear from the throne, "Ah, Krothos. It's nice of you to join us. What has taken you so long?" And he sees the rest of you come in. "Ah, and you've brought an escort with you. I am very excited to see what news you bring." He goes ahead. You guys all approach, and as you do so, he gazes each and every one of you up and down, and Krothos, he looks up. My lord Nalgoric. This group behind me is a group by the name of Ecclas, and before you make any judgments, they are responsible for saving my life." And his eyes, Nalgoric, his eyes, he looks intrigued. "I pray, do tell." He looks at you, Ecclas, as if expecting a response.
Yuki looks to her party and does a traditional silver Draken greeting, not really knowing how gold Draken greet each other necessarily, and just the gesture and stuff. And she says, "My name is Mistletoe Yuki. I'm from the city of Flamongolith, and these are my party men. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?"
Well, Kyle, this is in common speech or is this in Draconian?
This isn't common. So
Okay.
when he actually originally spoke and was like, actually that's a really good thing to note. When he initially greeted Krothos, he was speaking in Draken, but as he saw the rest of you, he began speaking in the common tongue. So average speech. So
I respond in Draken.
Oh.
Draconic. "Hello, my name is Zyl. I'm from Helix. I love the work you guys do in the Forge. It's an honor to be here."
He's a big fan, Yuki says. He's a blacksmith himself.
He kind of like smirks a little bit. "Perhaps after this, depending on how this conversation goes, I might have something interesting to show you. Have you ever heard of
the Golden Forge?
No.
Sounds
Have I?
interesting.
I don't.
You have
I
not.
don't
No,
think
you have not. But this is it definitely piques your interest. Anyone else want to? I guess Belbin.
Yeah, I'll just say, Belbin. Sometimes they call me Adonis. That's all I get.
Thordain's like, Thordain says, "My name is Thordain Mafariel, at your service," in a very polite, very elvish way, and he does a deep bow, chest
I
bow.
am a man of science.
That too, yes. He adds that, of course.
Yes,
Of course.
Ah, science indeed. Such is the way of elves, it seems. And then he looks lastly to Luxalia, who, Luxalia, in her typical Luxalia greeting, hello, I'm Luxalia Silverwood, and may love me guide you. That whole spiel. So Cole, if you're listening, that spiel, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, as you all introduce yourselves, he stands up and he walks down, and actually this is something that you notice Krothos is quite thrown aback by. Do tell me, Ecclas Eeas you mention, and he looks at Krothos. Yuki, Mistletoe,
Yes.
a Flamongolith. It's been quite a while since I've made my ways up north. As you can see, I'm kept quite busy here in my golden halls. And, well, I'd eventually like to make my way up to my brethren up north. This is a very much friendly type greeting. You get the impression that he holds any ill will against you just from being a different Draken race. Different
great.
Draken culture.
Yuki smiles quickly and she says, "Well, you're welcome anytime. My parents are famous instrument makers. Maybe you recognize the Mistletoe name. I'm sure they would be more than happy to oblige in any fashion that they can."
It's been a while to hear such joyous songs in these halls. These are darkening times, I do fear, indeed. And he looks to Zyl. Now, Zyl, is that what they call you by, just Zyl?
Yes. I grew up not really knowing my parents. They died when I was very, very young. I got to know them, well, they got to know me a little bit, so I have a slight memory, but I was raised by the blacksmith, and I lived on the street. I never had a family.
I see. Well, you are welcome here, Zyl. If you are a friend of Krothos, you are a friend of mine in these halls. And yes, you are, as a blacksmith, you are in the right place. There is no better place on earth to be able to learn the ways of Draken forgery, Draken steel.
This is what I like to hear.
And then he kind of gives you like a polite smile, and he kind of snaps. And as he does so, a Draken comes with him, and he has a glass, basically like this goblet, and he picks it up and he gives it a drink and he puts it down. And then he looks to you, Belbin. Belbin, a.k.a. Adonis? What is that?
I respond to either.
Glyvan language.
In a sense. I believe it's a mythical god.
Gods. Do tell me, Belbin, who is your god? Who do you represent?
Well, Belbin, of course. I'm named after him. Isn't he one of the
The Serac.
Serac? Yes.
Yes, indeed. The
Or
great
if you want the
Serac Belbin. There have been quite a few guardians of this here
world of Everlast that have taken up that mantle of Belbin. And each one of them have made their impact on this world, for better or for worse. Belbin is chaos. Belbin is justice. You, my friend, Belbin. I'm excited to see which one you represent. And then he moves on and he looks to Thordane. And he sees that Thordane is still kind of in his like crouched bowing position. You may stand, Master Elf, and he does. There's something different about you. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Thordane lifts
again-
his armpit. It's self-conscious. Like we're thinking about, it's been a couple days' journey. Hopefully, he's not having an off-putting smell or anything.
No, that's not what I mean. There's a feeling about you. Not so much a scent. I'm curious to see what your story is. Thordane stays quiet, by the way. He does not answer or anything, but basically just bows his head slightly again. And his eyes shift over to Luxalia. Now, it seems you are the bearer of light in this group, this ragtag band of adventurers. Tell me, do you come here for good news? Do you come here for ill news? How do you wish to answer this, Zyl? You role-play in Luxalia.
Well, a little bit of both. We have some good news. We have some less good news. Which one would you like first?
First, and he begins to address each and every one of you. How have a group such as yourselves, a group of many different faces, many different cultures, how does a group such as you have the debt of this here very noble Draken? Do tell me this first.
Yuki
That's
pipes
part
in.
of the good news.
Yeah, a little bit of happy circumstance. Actually, we found him. Well, we had initially met him in Takai Town, but our adventures, and she goes into like a very detailed story about how they chased a bandit into the woods who took something during the festival of solstice, and how they encountered bandits, how they found the crest of the city inside a troll cavern, but how when they eventually got into the fortress itself, we actually found him in a prison. Do you recall the old jungle fortress? It was actually resident to an evil sorcerer of sorts by the name of Amios. He said he served
He
some
stops you.
sort of...
Sorcerer, you say?
That's what he called himself.
Amios.
seemed-
How did this
It was
individual
Amos.
look? How did he present himself?
Well, I mean, Belbin has his mask.
Yeah. I'll take it out, throw it on my face. I'm Amios! Yeah. I want to kill you! Yeah. That's kind of, that's,
Brother, what do you think you're doing with such a dark artifact? What are you doing? Take it off, take it off.
Sorry.
Do
That's all I
continue,
got.
I pray. Pray do
Um,
tell.
And she says, "Well, I mean, yes, I mean he kind of was like that. It's not completely wrong. But he said he served some person by the name of Lilothi. I don't know if you know that name anywhere. However, in this fortress it was run by bandits and a bunch of cultists that seem to be under the tutelage of this sorcerer Amios. Krothos here, once we got him out of the prison that was underneath, helped us in many ways. Of course, being able to rid that fortress of the evil of Amios, and that brings us here. We went back to Takai Town, um, tied up some loose ends, and made our way straight here. And that's what she says.
Good news indeed. My friend, my fellow Krothos, has returned to us thanks to each and every one of you. And because of that, I owe a deep sense of gratitude. Krothos is one of my trusted advisors. He is, for better or for worse, one of my most trusted links between the world that we have here in Flamberge, our duty here in Flamberge, and the outside world. As you can see, it is a different world that we have here. And with that being the case, there are many pressing matters at hand, and this story seems to speak true. These events, this sorcerer, seems familiar to my ears. Was not but 3 or 4 months ago that an individual of this description came to our gates. He claimed that he was the servant of some god, Lilothi. This is partially why I ask you who you serve, you see. Because Lilothi is not a name that I have heard. And it is not a name that rings true to the ears of even my most trusted advisors here.
Well, I think that our name kind of says it all. I mean, our name is Ecclas. I mean, I don't speak Alomnic by any means, but I do believe it is of the Alomnic language. So I know, at least speaking for me and Luxalia here, um, at the very least, I may not have the best relationship with Alomnia himself, but I try to do my best.
There are few who speak that tongue, and it is a very rare gift indeed to speak it well. This individual, this sorcerer, I sensed something about him. Something dark, something sinister. And he brought to my gates the news. Well, less news and more servitude. In order for shelter, his shelter, he said he could give me much more than this city, much more than the power of this volcano of Aishen Island. And in return, bend a knee to his god. I don't bend knees to creatures, to gods that I don't know of. And who is he to command a king to bend a knee? I can tell a group such as you, understand where hierarchy lands and where nobility is. And the ultimate nobility, which is in our king, Alomnia. That is the only knee that I bend to. And my duty here is not to serve a foreign god, but it is to protect the flame pillar. Alamnia's mark of the power of creation and the power of death and destruction. It is a burden to bear. Us gold draken, from ages and ages, our responsibility lies to protecting this pillar. And it is a burden not to take so lightly. As there is a creature, Nazraheem, a being from the first age, where we take on this curse. He lives within that mountain. Our relation is a mutual trust. But he slumbers as I see the pillar grow weak. It flickers these days. And if what you say is true about the work of magic here on Aishen Island, that could perhaps be answers that perhaps we're looking for. Do tell me, Ecclas Eeas, what news have you from the outside world?
Well,
Things are going bad. There's
I love
Simply
famine.
put, you are a Glyven of few words, but understandable indeed. If you would like to embellish perhaps a little bit more on that.
There's famine, undead. What's the one where you become? Someone else help me out here.
oh yeah, the decay, right?
The decay.
Decay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I know the group of us, not Zyl here, but we actually met in a place called, oh gosh, what was that place called? Not Fexer Doom. Fexer Doom's a real bad
No,
place.
the Subterran.
Yeah.
It was. Come on, think.
I know. Oh my god, this is
Remember,
2 years back.
Veshgloom.
Veshgloom, yeah.
Veshgloom.
In a place called
With
Veshgloom.
Sinzira?
Yeah, with
No.
Sinzira. Hey, no, Sinzira
Yeah?
was the evil
No.
person in the last.
What was that? What
place.
was her name? Yeah.
Nymphixa, there we
Nymphixa,
go. Hey,
yeah.
look at this, 2 years back. We met actually in a Servant of Evil's fortress. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called, no, sorry, Fexer, what's it called again? I'm sorry.
Veshgloom.
Veshgloom. And we've made our way here, and I mean, we met Zyl in Helix, and we've been through many a thing, and we even took on an evil being by the name of Zyl. Do you remember this evil being's name?
Was it a Jabberwock?
No, not the Jabberwock. I don't think those such things exist anymore. I think those are myth and legend. I'm talking about the big flying demon.
Oh yes,
thing.
Burbledal.
Burbledal.
I point to my cape.
And I mean, we've been through all kinds of things. We met tons of people, and even on our way here, when we made our way by the Earth Pillar itself, the Order of Amandalius is no longer there. In fact, it was overrun by goblins, and we even saw the Great Nazraheem's kin, Smoldran, there, and we had a conversation with him at the Earth Pillar itself.
You tell me, and you expect me to believe that you had a conversation with Smoldran and you're still here to live to tell the tale. That is a prideful being.
Yes,
You must have a way with words.
I mean, we do our best. And she reaches into her glove bag and takes out the celestial bowstring that she has, and she says, I mean, we went in, checked out the evil that was within, and he gave us this. I mean, obviously he didn't eat us. He didn't set us on fire or anything. So I guess we left on good terms, but he says he's going to be protecting the Earth Pillar at least until we can find more from the Order of Amandalius to be able to come back and protect it.
A gem from the great horde of Nazraheem, and he begins to smile a little bit. There's more to you, the group of you, than meets the eye. Indeed, indeed, I am quite impressed. But if these ill tidings are so true, we're gonna need much more than just a band of heroes such as yourself. We need answers. We need knowledge.
Is there anything Luxalia can pipe in with that she's learned in her studies?
Dordain's a man of knowledge.
Well, he's dumbfounded by what's going on right now. He's just thinking about that building that we passed earlier, the science building about the volcanoes.
Luxalia, so one thing that I will say that she jumps in and she kind of chimes in and mentions is about kind of this like whole idea of creation. One of the aspects of creation that she has really been talking a lot about is this idea of unrest, and this idea specifically of like wolf or a wolf in sheep's clothing that keeps popping up over and over again. There's legends about the creation of basically the world, and where this creation narrative comes, where Alamnia he initially created the basically he created the power of life and death, which was the where he basically touched the world and created the flame pillar. It talks about how there is he created the land, and where he touched the earth and created the earth, where he touched the earth and created the seas, where he touched the earth and created the skies, and all of these different like pillars of existence. And I guess the thing that she is confused about is where where his duties, where he wants to. And so Luxalia is actually less about like given information, and more like asking him questions about like what his purpose is, and like what he's seen and how things have changed. Because one thing that Luxalia has experienced while she's been praying is there is a general sense of unrest, even after the defeat of the sorcerer, and like the rituals and stuff that you all had seen within the Jungle Keep. Like, it's very unsettling. And but it seems to be there's some kind of mysterious veil that exists, where things aren't always what they seem, and where things are drawn basically. People are trying to seek trust, and it's very difficult to trust people these days. Like, that's the basic gist of it. And so it's kind of surprising. One thing she brings up is it's kind of surprising that that Nalgoric, he is quite so keen on believing your guys' story from the very beginning. Mostly basically from his friend Krothos, but he is kind of taken aback, and he mentions, "Indeed, dark days lie ahead of us. I don't know if you've noticed. Aishen Volcano isn't quite as peaceful as it once was. We've built fortifications around the city that have proven useful. Yes, we enjoy the heat, us gold Draken, but we're obviously no match for molten lava. Very few are. But as mentioned previously, upon inspection of the flame pillar, the power itself seems to fade. And we haven't heard one bit, one word, one peep out of Nazraheem from within. The fact that Smoldran left his resting place proves that something's afoot. Something quite wicked indeed. Is it so much that Smoldran went to go protect that place, or perhaps running from something? Who's to say? But I do believe it is worth investigation. You, Ecclas Eeas, you mentioned that you made your way to the Earth Pillar. You slew some goblins.
Yes.
Even an elemental that had taken a manifest down below.
Yes, that's correct.
What of the key that the Order of Amandalius held? Have you
Oh, this
recovered
one?
such an artifact?
We did, right?
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, this one?
The PTSD moments
Oh yeah.
from Belden.
Oh, the freaking when I got sick, you mean from the door that I tried to open with the poison and whatnot? Oh, I hated that thing.
That was my key.
The key that Zyl pulls out, it is a very, very fancy looking key. Is it a gold key? And it has a large emerald in the hilt
Oh
of it.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to
And
dig deep to get it.
and as you pull it out, he kind of breathes a sigh of relief. Good. There are 4 keys that exist. And these keys exist with the 4 main players in the protection of these pillars. That key of Terabay Island. It was held by the Order of Amandalius. And until recently has been in their care. Now you, Ecclas Eeas, seems to be charged in your care. Aishen Island and the Flame Pillar, and he pulls out in his, basically around a chain on his neck, he pulls out a golden key as well. And there's an enormous ruby encrusted on the handle of it. I, Nalgoric Cragheim, and my descendants, watch over the Flame Pillar. And as for the other 2 keys, one is held by King Farrand. King Farrand of the Fesh and Fey Elves. There's an island called the Barrier Depths Island, and it's one that is no longer an island, I guess I would say. It's far beneath the depths of the oceans. Somewhere only reachable by those of Fesh and Fey descent. And he is the one who holds the key. The Sapphire Key. And finally, held by the humans of Skyspire Island. The Monteblair family, I believe, holds this key. And with that, they hold the protection of the sky. The Sky Pillar. When these 4 keys are united, and they are drawn, and he points behind him, and they are drawn to the altar of Alomnia, once placed by each of the individuals in charge, we're able to see things that perhaps mortal eyes aren't able to see, and we are only ordered to do so in times of great need and great danger. Aishen Island has survived many eras of great danger, and we've been able to survive quite terrible things, but if what you say on the outside world is true, it seems that there is an evil that is set in motion. An evil that is much more than just a localized problem, a localized wizard, a localized sorcerer. There's deep evil at work. And with the power of the Flame Pillar fading, I do believe
there's something within that volcano. And unfortunately, we have no way of knowing. That's Nazraheem's domain. When all 4 keys are inserted and brought to the altar of Alamnia at the north end of the city, the doors to Aishen Volcano shall open, and the power of life and death itself shall be known to us. This is why each and every one of the races, well, at least 4 races, are in charge of holding on to these keys, so one does not have or hold all the power. The power of life and death is far too much to be able to hold for one individual. And it is only when in dire need that they are brought together that we are unable to unleash its power, hopefully for good.
Well, what do you need from us? We ask.
Indeed. I seek counsel with the Monteblair family, and you, of course, as the holders of the Terabay key of the Earth Pillar, and also of King Ferrand. If you will travel to these places and have us meet, we could perhaps discuss what's at foot here.
How do we get to King Farron? He's underwater. Thordain
No.
doesn't like water.
Feshin Fay. Feshin Fay is a city very near to Fulden Rock, very near actually to the great city of Starscape. Perhaps you have heard of it. It is a city where the Feshin Fay elves have lived, and it is a city above ground.
Oh, okay.
Yes. King Ferrand is a kind, just man. The Monteblair family, on the other hand, let's just say they might take some convincing.
Do they have no sympathy for a human orphan?
Perhaps. The Monteblair family is a family of great wealth. They're the ones who own the town on Skyspire Island. And
Can I share some?
perhaps, with some convincing, they might take refuge here. However, from what you've seen at the Pillar and from what I've seen at the Flame Pillar as well, there might be evil forces that are corrupting these.
Mm.
It might seem that those need to be taken care of as well.
Well, that's more our wheelhouse. We're better in that than diplomacy.
Speak for yourself, Zyl. I think Belbin could take care of them with his pinky finger.
Amen.
What?
I'm talking about the baddies, that is.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Talking
That's
about all of
more our wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, if it is your bidding, and especially if you fear that the danger is nigh and imminent, how soon do you think we should set out for either, and which do you feel we should set out for first?
As mentioned previously, King Ferrand is a kind king. A just king. And with good reason, and from what you've explained to me is more than enough just cause, and especially with you speaking to me first, I believe he will heed your call. He might be the easier solution. Skyspire Island might take a little convincing. The Monteblair family, they own a large estate on Fulden Rock, which is perhaps in the direction of Feshin Fay as well. He has a steward that lives on Skyspire Island, and it might be
valuable to maybe seek counsel with that steward first.
Okay.
Perhaps press him. See what he knows. King Ferrand, I do believe our friendship speaks for itself. So whatever you choose to go to first, I believe both are pressing matters. And with a ship and a boat fast enough, you might be able to do so in relatively high speeds. The waters themselves, you see, though, are dangerous. Part of the reason why I haven't ventured outside of this world. You see, a king
know
such
again.
as myself, I seek my power from fire. I seek my power from land. Out on the water, it seems that I'm a floating duck, per se. Perhaps on your adventures, if you could make our oceans safer, we would also be in great debt to you. Not to say that all of this should be a burden on your shoulders. There are a great few that I know that could be of help. There's a man who often travels to and from on the high seas. He captains a ship called the Flortensia.
Oh, Gunter,
That's how
you
we got
mean?
here.
Yeah.
Ah! Seems you are familiar with such a man.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yes.
great.
He's a man of great honor, of great legend.
He's got some scallywags for shipmates, though.
Haha. And Krothos, he looks at you and he's like, indeed, scallywags. We'll seek him out. He might be of great help. Tell him Nalgoric Cragheim would like a favor, and in return for each of you, if you are able to do so, if you are able to help us, gather these 4 nations together under our true king, Alamnia. Perhaps a reward can be managed. Does that sound fair to you?
We will do our best for the purposes of protecting this world. We've already come so far. I feel like we need to see it to the end. So that's an eye for me. What about the rest of you?
I mean,
What kind of reward are we talking about?
His eyes, they with intrigue. Well, what is it that you're after, Belbin? Obviously,
Something-
we have halls of gold, treasures and riches. That could be of interest.
Something unique.
Ah.
No more of this EP garbage. I don't care about that. Give me something I can
Can I
hang
have
on my
yours?
wall.
can I have yours?
Not working for money, working for something more valuable. You do understand that you stand in the house of the greatest forge to ever exist. Perhaps something of Draken make.
That could be arranged.
Weapons? Armor.
All of it, baby. This is a big task you're giving us.
'Tis a big task. And from what you've done so far, we are, of course, in debt to you. But I, as a king, have my pride as well. I'm not going to be giving treasures away so willy-nilly. However, it looks like Smoldran, you've seemed to win him over to some degree.
She
What you
dangles
hold-
the string.
What you hold is no mere trinket. From what I know of this, it belongs to a bow of guardian legend, of guardian lore. Back in the Second Age, there was a Draken who wielded a bow of the heavens. And this string, this bowstring, if it's what I believe what it is, and knowing that it came from the treasure hoard, which it did, which it could very well be, this of legend. Unfortunately, that is of woodworking craft, and I'm not able to do much, but it seems like you have but a part of this weapon. The shaft itself exists out there somewhere, a shaft that will fit this bowstring. Keep your eyes peeled. It might be found in the most unlikely of places. It seems the piece that you have currently with you perhaps is the hardest to obtain. Yet somehow here you are.
Well, good to know. We'll do our best to complete this task to your liking, and obviously, hopefully, bring peace to whatever is disrupting the pillars themselves.
I'm going to have each of you make focus skill checks for me.
Focus. Should I make Luxalia make one too?
Yes, please.
20.
Holy smokes.
14 for Zyl and 10 for Luxalia.
Okay.
Yuki got a 15 and Thordain got a nat 1.
Okay. Everybody except for Luxalia and Thordain. Luxalia got the 10, correct?
Yes.
Okay, everyone except for Luxalia and Thordain. You feel what seems to be a small rumble beneath your feet. Does anyone wish to mention anything about it, or are you just going to let it pass?
Is that normal?
Whoopsie daisy. Ooh.
I'm afraid I don't know what you speak. Ground movement is relatively common in these parts. You do realize Aishen Island is ever growing, ever shifting. And immediately, as he mentions that, you hear an explosive type burst. And that is where we're going to end our session for today.
All right. Well, that's nice. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, yep. All right.
Okay.
Yo.
Well, thanks for everybody for joining us. As Ecclas finds, well, cliffhangers. For each of you that are here, does anyone have anything to mention before we sign off for the night?
Well, first and foremost, thank you all for joining us. We really do appreciate you joining us for session 15 of Everlast. If you want to relive the action and or you have friends or family or anyone who you may think would enjoy this tabletop RPG or this wonderful story, please spread the word. We do upload these onto our YouTube channel, which is linked in the About section below. So please feel free to follow those links. Kyle, when is our next session for Everlast?
Our next Everlast session is going to be December 10th. And so we have a couple of weeks for you guys to be able to build up a little bit more excitement. But we're going to be continuing to December on the 10th, the second Saturday of December. So as of now, that is our next planned scheduled event, and hopefully it's going to be a good way to start off December with a bang.
And sadly, Zyl will not be there.
Oh no, it's fine. You're here most of the time anyways.
Family Christmas calls.
Yeah, be that way.
It's Christmas.
Speaking of which, December might be a little bit of a busy month for everyone. I think just everyone that's the case. So we'll still discuss it. Right now, the 10th is the plan, but we may still talk about it. We'll talk with everyone else, seeing if we're going to have another session, at least in the month of December. But right now, as of now, the 10th is our next session. So come and join us for that.
So join us for that, absolutely.
Yes. As far as anything else, currently in our merch store, and here's a link to our merch store, or you could go to our, it's linked in the About section below, but you can also take a look in the chat. We have our Christmas sale going on, so if you are in the mood for some gifts for people or buying some new threads that perfectly depict Everlast or Fantasy Forge and in its nature, feel free to go check out the merch store. Everything is on massive discounts. It's the biggest discounts we've had in our merch store. The discounts are already applied, so the price that is on the items is what it is. And some of the items, like for example, our t-shirts are up to like $5 off from what they are, and they're already not that expensive. So feel free to go check that out. If you want just like a generic Fantasy Forge designs, all the way from Everlast things. Each of our character merch, for example, I know Zyl's wearing one of the character merches. I'm also wearing one, the Yuki one. kind of thing. So go check that out. It's really cool. And all proceeds go towards the creation of Everlast. Again, Everlast is the mind child of Kyle, and he is the creator of the game, and we are producing this game ourselves here at Fantasy Forge Studios. So the merch and buying merch is one of the best ways to be able to support the creation of the game, but you also get some pretty cool merchandise to be able to share with yourself and those around you. So feel free to
It's good.
Yeah, feel free to go check that out at the very least, just to take a look. And if you have some holiday shopping of people who like fantasy type things or video game themed things, that's a good way to do it. Also, we have a Patreon to be able to support the game as well. So Kyle, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, if you support at the $5 level, you can intercede on behalf of fate, as Belbin did so today to keep himself from sweltering in the heat of the lava. But at the $5 level, basically once per month, so we have about 2 sessions per month, you're able to grant hope to our players, and what that does is it allows them to be able to re-roll anything, taking the higher of the 2 rolls. And on the other hand, if you subscribe at the $10 level, you get 2 of those to use per month, and additionally, you get access to the basically the Adventures of Ecclas Eeas before the official streamed event. So that's something that's really cool. Lots of hours of extra content. So
yeah, so come join us, or feel free to do that. Again, all proceeds go towards the creation of Everlast itself. The schedule ahead, really quick, looking for the next week ahead. Monday, again, those of you who are not part of our Discord, we have a very active and wonderful community in our Discord group at Fantasy Forge Studios. And every Monday we do have movie nights. So 7 p.m. Japan Standard Time. I know it's middle of the night for my American friends, but at the very least, come try to check us out if you can. We have movie nights. So we're currently watching through all of the Lord of the Rings series. So we are on The Hobbit, The Battle of 5 Armies, and then we're going to be moving on to the main trilogy afterwards. So come join us on Monday.
Are you doing the extended editions?
Unfortunately, with the Hobbits at the very least, we're not. We might be doing the extended editions as far as the actual Lord of the Rings trilogy goes, but they're really expensive. And the person who does the movies for us doesn't have them. So yes, so we're not doing extended editions right now. However, we might do it for the actual Lord of the Rings. It just depends. As far as the rest of the week goes, though, Tuesday and Thursday this week, I myself, Forged, the creator of the channel, will be continuing my playthrough of Triangle Strategy. Come join us if you like
guys,
JRPGs.
it's sick. It's so good.
Yeah, if you like JRPGs or you like just in general video games that revolve around nerdy culture and knights and armor and stuff like that, then you will definitely like Triangle Strategy for sure. It's really fun. Friday we do not have a stream, unfortunately. I am going to be preoccupied on Friday, so no stream Friday, but look forward to this weekend for the podcast of Everlast Adventures, again, where we'll be discussing these previous 2 sessions with Kyle and myself. So come and join us for that. That will be uploaded on our YouTube channel exclusively. But aside from that, I don't know if I have anything else. Does anyone want to add anything before we get going?
December 2nd is the next Coal Forge Great Axe, the Emma Silent. We took a fun detour into the new Pokemon games. Yes, last night. Thanks for all who came. But we're going to go back to Lego Star Wars so we can at least finish that.
For sure, yeah.
And then be thinking, what do you want to see us play? We can go back to Pokemon. We can do, I don't know, many other co-op Switch games off the top of my head, but we're
let
open
us know
to
in the
ideas.
Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, so
for sure. I mean, it was really fun. Again, yes, thanks to everyone who joined Max and Cole. It was a great time. It was a great first look into the new Pokemon game that just came out yesterday, I guess.
And
so
for everyone who was there and was interested, I finally got the Eevee before I went to bed.
Let's go.
Way too long.
Freaking sick. Nice. Connor, anything before we head out?
Trying to think. I don't think I have anything.
All right. Well, Connor, don't
When
work
is your
yourself
solo
too hard.
stream starting?
The Adonis of Belbin.
The Adonis.
I'm liking his new look, or at least the thought of his new look. So that's
it's gonna be nice. Any artists out there, feel free to make some interpretations.
Yes.
Some fan art interpretations.
Clean Belbin up.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, our party was already a
dirty
ragtag
boy.
group of adventurers, but we've gone up at least a couple points in how we look and appear to others. with his clean.
Zyl is
Adonis
cleaner
look.
than he's ever been.
I know. We are fresh off vacation. That's for sure.
Vacation is
Vacation's
good
nice.
for everyone.
He has now taken one bath in his life.
Woo! From the hot springs. Nice.
And you know what, guys? Before we head out, let's just for the sake of it, let's do another roll of the D16.
Oh.
We do have new channel rewards
Yes,
in the
and
channel.
in the Discord, make sure to think about maybe, because again, like especially if we're rolling these during Everlast, we need something for like a punishment for the person who rolls the lowest, and it's like a reward for someone who rolls the best. So between the four of us, just a straight
I feel
D16.
pretty good. I feel pretty good with my roll.
Connor,
pretty
what did
good
you
ones,
roll?
9.
9. Okay. Dave.
Yeah, ended off on a hot note, wasting all my nat 16s on just rolling the dice. But I got
Okay.
nat 16.
All right, Max.
Oh, 15.
And I got a 4.
Nice.
So,
But yeah, we're adding more channel points too. So if you can think of any good channel point ideas as well, we've had the same ones for so long. So I'm trying to think of some ones to be able to add just into the normal stream. So if you have any ideas, feel free to do so. Yes, we do have one that's insanely expensive, so save for it. It is Made Forged. I did it for Halloween last year, and you guys got a kick out of it. I hate it, but if you guys like it, maybe we'll do it again. That's the reason why it's really expensive. So. So feel free to save your channel points for that as well. But if you have any other like cheaper ideas or things that you think could be fun for the channel points, feel free to suggest them as well. But aside from that, Kyle, I think I don't have anything else. Do you have anything?
I don't think so. Thank you all for joining us. You guys are all awesome as usual, and we will see you all soon. May Alamnia guide you.
Bye-bye.